And if you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
See the city, see that I'm a country nigga. Ay. Straw hat with my fishing pole with a cup of liquor. Ay. City folk be so amazing, my country rip. Over yonder, see them boys hate, but they ain't fucking with. See the city, see that I'm a country nigga. Ay. Straw hat with my fishing pole with a cup of liquor. Ay. City folk be so amazing, my country rip. Ay. Over yonder, see them boys hate, but they ain't fucking with. Country boy, I need hot sauce on my catfish. Texas boy, you can point the shit in your athlete. Was a little kid on the front porch doing backflips. Had wood grain on my Hot Wheels, that's practice. Born in 89, but the 84s be sticking out like a cactus. Had a wine colored Cadillac with a soft top with my last bitch. And I pulled up and I was laughing with more wood grain than a casket. Speaker shaking and blasting, so I can't hear shit that you asking. Used to be outside playing 25 till it's nighttime, we was all in. Black boys and Mexican boys, we didn't give a fuck, we was all friends. Rolling deep with my family tree, see we all cutties, yeah we all kin. In the whip we gon' pile in, gon' get it live on the dead end. Keep fishing rods in my back seat and keep a backwood as my cigarella. Camel down from head to toe, about to go hunting with your Cinderella. In the duck blind with your main dime. At the lake she done took the bait. Country boys in his country ways, city slickers really can't relate. See the city, see that I'm a country nigga. Ay. Straw hat with my fishing pole with a cup of liquor. Ay. City folk be so amazing, my country rip. Ay. Over yonder, see them boys hate, but they ain't fucking with. See the city, see that I'm a country nigga. Ay. Straw hat with my fishing pole with a cup of liquor. Ay. City folk be so amazing, my country rip. Ay. Over yonder, see them boys hate, but they ain't fucking with. Country boy, I need hot sauce on my catfish. Texas boy, you can point the shit in your athlete.
TriMedia, ayy, TriMedia, it's DQ, baby. TriMedia, check. TriMedia innovations, we gotta wait. What? Took a little minute, was patient, but now we take it. Anytime we want this game, my situation is entertainment intertwined with information. Alchemist soul, how we move the tassel and roll. It's amazing how we can turn something brass to gold. And we steady making hits. Architect with the prop in the scripts. It's logical that the product will flip. My boy Chef did the lineup, I'm fresh in the bitch. Carnivorous podcast, the newest show on the list. DQ on the boat, so I'm rocking the ship. Squad the music gon' be dope and the artist legit. Hold my beard, concrete cord, then stepped in the door. See, that's my man and he reppin' for show. And true saviors, a player with flavor. Lexicon Taylor, lines on point like a laser. We need that paper, we building the vault. Cause you niggas don't listen, y'all be waiting to talk. Lack accountability and try to make it our fault. But opposing us is trying to arm wrestle the hawk. You coming up short on your re-up, nigga we up. Really wouldn't want to be up. I kick my feet up, my beef is ragu and my truck is all speakers. Bills is all blue and my blunt is all reefer. With possible deniability, that boy eater. High quality whack juice by the liter. They like to call us ops, we got Oppenheimer features. That's the bomb out on the island just to teach you.
What's hood?
Man.
What's hood? What is hood? Back like I never left.
We some family men, we getting it paper. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
He dropped the drop on us.
Leave it to you, bro. Hey, tonight's the night, bro. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. What's going on, my brothers? We live on Carnivorous podcast, TriMedia in the building. Tonight is the night. It's election night. It would only be right that we have this conversation this evening. It would only be right. Right now, we up 95-35. Right now, that's real time. So we about what? about a quarter of the way there, depending on how things go. What's going on, DQ? What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Tika? Corey, why are you in the chat? Let's go, bro. Let's go, bro. Let's
Peace
go,
to
bro.
everybody in the chat. Peace to the panel. Man, I'm good, brother. Excited about tonight. Trying to see people's reaction. You know, I'm analytical, so I like seeing people's body language. So yeah, I'm just about to sit back and watch. See if people are gonna squirm or they gonna burn.
No, I ain't got a Steinway. I ain't got no Steinway piano in the background. Nah, that's just a green screen. That's just a green screen, bro. I'm traveling right now, so I'm just trying to make it work. Trying to make it work before I get back to the crib.
Background, we got TriMedia Records.
TriMedia Records in the building. Yeah, hopefully y'all get into that. Hold on, I would be remiss. What's going on, Logic?
Man, what's happening, man? I was just stuck on another screen, bro. I was having problems trying to get back over here.
Mm-hmm. Well, being that we on Carnivorous Podcast Channel 2, we streaming live over there. You can watch it on here. You can watch it on there. We're waiting on Corey to come up. We're waiting on Chef to come up. We're waiting on the spot. She's gonna come up. It's gonna be an open show. We're gonna do a couple hours for the election, huh?
Now I said shout out on the spot.
Yeah, shout out on the spot. We're gonna go live for a little while, see if we can get some direct results. Hopefully, we'll be able to go all the way up until Trump win. And then what happened? You know what I mean? So hopefully we get up there. Right now he's up 30% in Georgia, but Cobb County, DeKalb County, Fulton County ain't come up yet. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll definitely see how that plays out. Huh?
Wasn't Georgia a swing state?
Yeah, Georgia, the key states. Hold on, before I do this, because we are on Carnivorous Podcast, I gotta show my respect. Hold on.
Let's get ready to with the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world.
Pull up the seat and pull out your shot glass. Carnivorous for the podcast. TriMedia for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they broad ass. The coalition of bitches, they talk trash. On the mission to fit in your soft ass. Rolling green and clubbing this golf class. Loaded lust couldn't say they lost ass. The capital community streets is all sad. Niggas be thinking the heat they all last. Be conscious of all the sand in the hourglass. Be humble when be prepared when the power pass. Old and young niggas, we all class. Ideology different, we move the ball fast. Yeah, these chickens is out of season, we haul ass. There's a reason we undefeated, it's all fast. Pull up the seat, pull out a shot glass. Carnivorous for the podcast. TriMedia for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they fraud ass. Pull up the seat, pull out a shot glass. Carnivorous for the podcast. TriMedia for the broadcast. Straight up balling out on they fraud ass. Let's go.
Had to show respect to my brothers. It's gonna be an open conversation. It's not gonna be a we're gonna have some conversation, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna, political conversations get a little sketchy publicly. But we're gonna try our best to keep it clean. And y'all leave y'all comments. I don't care who you voted for as long as you voted. I'm more about participating in the process than necessarily who you voted for. But I got a bone to pick, pause, with you and DQ, bro.
Oh shit! What I do? Come on, talk to me.
I got a bone to pick with y'all, bro.
It's hilarious.
So in the Discord earlier, bro, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I got to, bro. I got it.
Uh-huh.
So in the Discord earlier, we was having a conversation about voting. And Logic, you'd have loved it, but I think I don't know if y'all was in there, then I got a bone to pick with you. If y'all wasn't in there, then it ain't that big a deal. So in the Discord earlier, I got attacked in my own damn Discord. I got attacked. When I tell you I got attacked in my own Discord.
I definitely missed this.
Okay, so in the Discord, so I'm gonna set the play. Right now, hold on. Pennsylvania, Harris is 75%, 21%, but it's too early to call. So it's only about 5% in. So hold on. Matter of fact,
yeah, now I'm putting this motherfucker. Let me see what the hell I missed. My nigga say he got attacked.
I got
That's
attacked.
the word that we
when I tell you I got attacked, man, I got attacked. So in the Discord earlier, somebody dropped a link. They can come up. I mean, it's an open show for now.
I got you. I'll do that.
So we in the Discord talking voice chat, and it's Fetty, me, Corey, Chef, everybody else. It's like 20 people in there. So Corey says, not Corey, Sunchild was in there. Biggest mistake in the world. Sunchild says, Logic, just walk with me. Sunchild says, so you voting for Trump makes you essentially a racist. So I said, okay. I've heard that before. That's not new. But he says something today that I think I want to start the show off with. I mean, this show's about the election. We just having a random conversation. So if y'all here for like some kind of format, wrong show. So he said, and I quote, you deal in investments, you deal in stocks, you're trying to make money, you have properties. You ascribe to be a Western white American male.
Damn.
And that's why you would no. Let it. I gotta let this go. Now there's 20 other people in here. I'm gonna get to the part where I say I got a bowl to pick. So then he says, yeah, man, you're an undercover racist, that's why, because white men started sexism. So that I'm a sexist and I'm not voting for Kamala Harris because I'm a sexist. I just don't like women. So I said, okay. And then Chef Sosa, and I think it was like one or two other people, commits to start like making an argument for what Sunchild was saying, that I was a racist, that somehow I'm a sexist. And that I ascribe in order to make money as a black man in these United States and vote for your interests, I am ascribing to be a white. Come on, Chef, come on up. Chef was in there. He could probably explain a little better to me too. I'm telling Chef to come up on his own channel, like it ain't his channel. The link is in the chat, and I texted you stuff. So he said that that secretly as a black man, I ascribe to be a white American because I deal in stocks, investments, and real estate, and that I make money in the United States. Like I want to be a part of the system. That I'm a European in the Western world, not a black man, because I want to invest. So you know what I immediately said? Like, we're screwed if that's like, because the first thought I said is like that's Sunchild, right? So that ain't even a stretch. That's like, all right, I done heard Sunchild say worse. But here's where I got the bone to pick. Sosa, I didn't know if y'all was in there or not, but Sosa and Chef commenced to defend this. That somehow that Sunchild could possibly be right. And listen, now here's the challenge. Now, like I said, Chef and Sosa can defend themselves. This ain't nothing against them. Because I sometimes my recollections be wrong. So they can clean it up when they come in. But here's my problem, right? It was about 20 people in there. Now, I was the only person in that Discord that said, if this is what we believe about black people in 2024, we are screwed, bro.
We're done,
screwed, bro.
Yeah, we're done.
Like if this Tika says she don't believe me, I swear, bro, I can't make this up.
We're done.
I can't make this up. Tika, I cannot make this up. I said, like, let Chef come in and Sosa come in. If Sunchild come to the channel, I'm gonna let him, defend his argument. But my whole thinking was, being that I was the only person that was like, am I in a parallel universe or something? So if we try to actually participate and make money in the United States, somehow I have to ascribe to be a white man to play the stock market and buy real estate. That is literally what he said. Literally. And nobody fought it. And then the whole thing, I was sitting there like, am I losing my mind? Because you know that's my thing, right? When I feel like I'm being attacked, Fetty was in there. I think Fetty was in there. Fetty, if you can come up and tell me where I'm saying this wrong. I said, am I losing my natural mind that somehow he just equated a black man being successful in the United States, voting for his interests? I think Chef even said, yeah, you just being an individualist. I was like, are y'all serious, bro? Are y'all dead serious that's so y'all speak to that. My bones, but y'all obviously wasn't in there, so y'all off the hook. But Fetty, I think Fetty was in there. He might not have been in there, but I know it was people in there other than them. And no one batted an eye. Like, this is normal. This is why I don't like mixing conscious community and politics. That's why I don't like having these conversations, because everything goes back around to your identity as a black man.
Yes, it does, right? And that's part of the reason why I left, for two reasons, right? The conversation was getting to the part where we really needed to table some of that and bring it to the show. And plus, it like some of that extreme stuff is stuff that we kind of need to hash out, right? And for me, from my understanding, you're absolutely right, right? If those are the best kind of ideas that we can come up with as solutions of black people, then we are even further behind than we are on like the income scales, right? Like it's like that's probably like so far into the plan, right? We need to be dealing with, right, even being able to structure ideas around what other people are doing that actually works, right? Like so that, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a really, really bad sign as far as how close we are to being able to really formulate some solutions that make sense, right? You got to use the word practical, pragmatic, like, can we really implement this thing, right? It started when they started talking about that group thing, right? That's where it started. And I left somewhere after that, started getting crazy. And I guess at some point, since you're not with the thought process that Sunchild is in, you are a white supremacist. Yeah, that's usually where it goes.
What you got? What you got for that, Corey? I don't know if you heard the story. Peace to co-owner Carnivorous podcast, my business partner. Been killing it on Black Ops. Hey, I ain't realized how old I was until I turned on Black Ops 6 the other day, Corey. They moving too damn fast for me, G. They moving way too fast for me. Man, they moving way too fast. What's going on, Corey? You're on mute, Corey. Oh, no, you're not. You good. You good.
Oh, nah, there I go. My bad. Am I good? Am I too loud?
No, you perfect.
Right on. Yeah, Black Ops, especially if you're playing multiplayer, you definitely got to be ready for that. You definitely got to be ready for that. You definitely got to be ready for that. Cuban, what's up, man? You coming in with the feedback?
Yeah, you got to you got to turn the feed off in the background, Cuban. But yeah, Corey. So Corey, did you hear my story earlier?
I don't got no feedback.
Okay, we good.
Well, you did now. You good now?
Yeah, you good now.
I didn't hear the story.
Okay, so real quick, the story.
The white man probably caused the goddamn feedback. I'm about
Here
to
we
get
go.
on y'all.
He already coming in cursing and just going crazy.
Man,
See,
what
just
happened
off the
that
rip, just out. And we got a lady in the building tonight. Keep it
I'm
clean.
just joking.
I know.
I got some stuff I want to say though. Y'all
okay, hey, keep it clean. We got a lady in the building this evening. On the spot, what's going on? Introduce y'all to On the Spot. She's a collaborator partner with TriMedia. She has her own channel. We'll plug everything, but right now we just have a general conversation about the election. On the Spot, we're gonna get right to you. I just want to tell a quick story because I think I got attacked in my own Discord today. What's up, Stoopy?
What's up?
What's going on the spot? Take a second, introduce yourself.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies, everyone in the chat. I am the host of Ownaspot Live here on YouTube, and I am a super fan of TriMedia Innovations. So glad to be here with all my friends and some new people. Nice to meet you all.
What's
up? Good to meet you, sister. Good to meet you.
What's up? What's up? We got Stu Peas in the building. All right, so I want to tell and Stu Peas, I want to hear your opinion on this too. So I got attacked in my own Discord earlier, and I was about to cuss DQ and Logic out because I thought they was listening to It Happened Live, and but they didn't. They said they weren't in there. So earlier we was talking about voting, this, that, and the third. So we was talking about Kamala Harris, and he was asking me, you know, the different issues I have with the different policies or just in general. So we was having just a general conversation. And one gentleman in there, Sunchild, he says, this is what he said to me, Court. He said, well, you know, you got like, you know, you kind of ascribe to be a white man. So I said, what? So he said, no, you ascribe. He said, you invest in the stock market, you have real estate, you know, you vote your interests, which would be Republican. And he said that all of those things with you being a black man, and you won't just vote for a black woman because she's running, you vote your interest, which is individualist. So you aspire as a black man to be a Western white man. So I said, hold on. So I said, all right, so take me out of it. So if a black man tries to be successful in, you know, playing the game, stock market, real estate, investments, finances, lower taxes, deregulation, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, so that would make me a Western, or I would ascribe to be a Western white man. And that man said yes. And your business partner co-signed it. Chef co-signed it, Sosa co-signed. I said, so I must be losing my natural mind, Corey. That what I actually said, I can't say it live because it was kind of vulgar, but he's in the back chat. But I literally said we're screwed as a people if that's where we stand. If that's the watermark for where we stand as a people, that you have to ascribe to be an entire another race to play the game that you could participate, that all races participate in, Asian, you know, all races participate in this game that we play. Some are successful, some aren't. That you have to ascribe to be a white man. And you know why I was disappointed, Corey? Because it was 15 people in there, and the only person that had a problem with what he said was me. So now I'm gonna bring this to a public conversation, right? I'm gonna go down the line. I already got Logic and DQ. I'm gonna hear your opinion on it. Cuban, you were in there when it happened. Yep. On the spot, and then we're gonna have it. Then Stu Peas, I want to hear what you got to say. Go ahead, Corey. Tell me what you got to say to that.
Now let me get this straight. Now you say that because you wanted to, you know, because you're the type of guy that, you know, is interested in the stock market and you know, you do your real estate and you
voted red.
You vote for your interests, right?
Right. That I ascribe to be a Western white man. Those are the exact words. A Western European.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'd say I would have to say that is kind of crazy to me for somebody to say that to you.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Pete Stu Peas, and I'm gonna let Cuban come in because Cuban was in there, and he'll tell y'all if I was capping. Trust me. Go ahead, Stu Peas.
All right. I'm going to use a quote from Star Trek. Does the interest of the one overrule the interest of the many? So when somebody here you said that you're voting for your own interest, it can come off as a bit selfish, and so many persons can't elaborate the thought in complex manner. So they're saying that you're selfish, and the characteristics that you're displaying is the same selfish characteristics of a European. So he basically comparing you on that level to say, listen, how you as a black man, knowing that it is not in the best interest of the majority of black people to follow Trump policy, because Trump policy, example, qualified immunity is not the best thing for black people. So when somebody hear your thought, they may not can elaborate the thoughts properly, but it's your thought. If you want to be me and not we can't blame you for that. We just have to say you is about you. But many black people always have the we argument where they see themselves as a part of a group collective. And when they hear you speak like that, they say you're an individual who's very individualistic, thinking about my stock, my real estate, and my success.
And my
Instead of group
family. Hold
dynamic.
on, but I
And
want to clarify. When I say me being married with children and basically be in the position where, you know, I'm about to be taking care of my parents, that's the circle of life. When I say these things as me, I'm not coming to it. When I say I don't mean as we, and he understood that because I clarified that there. I
yeah,
have
but
children, I have a
I understand what you're
family.
saying. But
Right,
when you
yeah,
still say me,
yeah.
because it's still a me, it's my unit. It's me, my unit, my family,
Right.
so it's still me in that collective. So many persons might see it as you're being individualistic. You're saying that if I rise to success, but in your mind, you're saying when I rise to success, I can be that beacon or that lighthouse to other people to show them that you also can rise to success.
Right.
And I don't wrong you for how you think. It's not a matter of wrong or right. But if you're telling me now that your success now makes you a part of their success, I'm going to have a problem with that.
No, I'm not saying no.
Okay, but
No, we're not
there's
speaking.
no problem with you being a me instead of a we. But most black people don't think that way because they understand that the struggle that allowed you to be successful now was never a me struggle, was a you struggle. So you look like somebody who crossed the bridge and decided to kick the bridge behind you because you're successful now. But people have to buy that. People have to just understand is you. You're not a me kind of guy. You're not thinking about everybody else apart from your unit. And that is you. And I'm not mad at you for that. And I wouldn't call you out. I'll just laugh at you and say a nigga moment coming. Like all like other black people who think that
I could
success
dig
prevent
it.
them from a nigga moment. It's coming.
I could dig it. One of the statements I live by, and it's not the most positive thing, but one of the statements that I live by, and it's what I was taught, I've heard it 1,000 times in my youth, is the best way to help the poor is not to become one of them. So I know that sounds harsh at its face, right? But I think if everybody took that same sentiment, it wouldn't. I don't. And that's my policy. If I had to, if
One
I had
guy,
to enact
let me
policy.
rebut that. Let me rebut that statement.
Okay, yeah, but I want to get to everybody else too, please.
But
Go ahead.
you made that statement, and I have to rebut it. What if Malcolm thought that way? What if
Okay.
Martin thought that way? Because Malcolm and Martin died poor, and they didn't have to. Martin Luther King didn't have to die poor. Malcolm X didn't have to die poor. Marcus Garvey didn't have to die poor. Most of black freedom fighters who laid a way for you to become all that you are today didn't think that way.
Okay.
They didn't. And it's just part of this. So you justifying your belief system based upon a fucked up theory, but where you just display is your theory. But don't try to justify with a fucked up theory to saying that I
Stop
seen
cursing,
that.
two P's.
Yeah,
Stop
but
cursing, two
it is
P's.
what it is. But my
Okay, I know. I
apologies.
got
Let me
you. I
shut
got
up.
you. Just stop cursing. Stop cursing. No, talk. We trying to keep this show up. What's because I know one curse that deters it up. But I appreciate your sentiment. I appreciate that. Go ahead, on the spot, and then Cuban, I'm gonna let you close because you was there. Go ahead, on the spot. All right, what do you want me to call you?
I am. I'm sorry. I'll put it up here. I am.
Okay. I am. So go ahead, I am.
Yes, sir. I actually concur with the gentleman who spoke just before me that it really comes down to if you have a mindset for the collective or not. If you feel some sense of duty, obligation, love, anything for the group on the whole, or if you are out for self. And self could be yourself as an individual and your immediate family. What I find though, for some people, they have given up. They have the heart for us as a group. They have a heart for their people, but they're just not willing to sign up to do the work that it takes to advance the collective. Because the work that it takes to advance the collective is far and beyond what it would take to advance yourself as an individual or an individual family in the society. So I understand the sentiments of what they were saying in the Discord. They're saying, you left us out here. And, to the saying of, the best thing, help poor people by not becoming poor. That's true. But like even on my channel, I talk about wealth as there's no such thing as individual wealth when it comes to our group. Because if you are the person in your family with all of the resources, all of the investments, all of the real estate, etc., you're in a financially vulnerable position. So it behooves you to advance every person around you as well. And that is when you become financially successful, in my opinion.
That's not. I appreciate
If your neighbor ain't doing good, then you got to worry.
Exactly, because if something happens in the family, somebody needs something, someone has a crisis, and you're the only person with resources, that is going to deplete your resources. When you empower people around you, you further solidify your own financial base. And I think it's very important for us to think about our political action and our wealth in terms of that.
Very nice. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
Cuban. You was actually in the room. Go ahead, bro.
What's exactly the question?
No, just given was I right? Was I wrong? Was it wrong for him to say? Am I selling fish out here? Do I got a fish market? Am I selfish? Go ahead, bro. I want to hear what you got, Cuban. As PG as possible. I want y'all to be to get y'all point across.
I won't use any
this
action
profanity
verbs or anything like that.
Okay, go ahead. And we're waiting on Chef to come up.
Um,
And Trump just won Arkansas. We up 101-35. Let's go. Go ahead.
I really don't want to get really into it, really, because my views are so probably viewed as extreme.
Bro, you are so crap.
Today is a great day to say it, man.
I'm just gonna say it.
Just let him go. Let him go. Let him. Hey. Let him cook. Let him cook.
This nigga's cap, boy.
We'll be in the Discord and he'll talk our head off for 2 hours, man.
So this nigga,
he really don't talk.
me.
Hold on. Hey. We're not acting like a safe space right now. Let the man say what he got to say.
If we went on Maury Povich and took a lie detector test, y'all two would flunk. All right.
Go ahead, Cubans. Get to say your
logic point. And DQ.
You got a song coming.
I do not talk.
All right, that's fine. You got a song covered. Go ahead, get to your point, bro. Y'all tried to take this off the rails. It's only 8:30.
This is what happens in the Discord.
Kamala Harris just won Delaware. Go ahead. It's an election show, so I'm gonna do this. We're 48% in. She's projected to win Delaware, which was true. Go ahead.
So this is what happens in the Discord. It's talking over and cutting off. So I was trying to talk in the Discord several times.
Go ahead, say what you gotta say.
So yes. I have a handkerchief right here, DQ. Let me blow my nose. So I mean, one at a time, Tika. See, Tika season.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm not for, and I already know when I say this, y'all gonna come at me with all this other shit. I already know. So I'm not favoring capitalism. Even though I live in a capitalist country, I'm not big on capitalism. So I can tell you right now that both of them parties I ain't feeling at all. I voted, and I know who I voted for is not going to win, but that's okay. But I voted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for me, I think that number one, there has to be self-preservation, right?
Yes.
Go ahead. I can't hear you. Your mic cut out.
You want to, of course, look out for yourself, right? However, there's a thing of we and us and not I and me. And I think that's one of the problems that capitalism breeds is it breeds me, and I, and not us and we. So I think that the collective is important. But I also understand within the collective, when you're talking about a collective of people, people are not going to agree. So, and people are not, it's evident here. It's evident in the Discord, right? So there's going to be disagreements. So I just leave it like that. I leave it like that. But I do think that that the others have to be of importance and of interest. It has to, you know what I mean? Like, otherwise, okay, you living good, your life is good, and the rest of the people is just thrown by the wayside, you know. And I take issue with that, me personally. So if you're talking about the specifics of certain things that were said to you, I put you like this. I can understand both perspectives. Since I've gotten to know you, I've taken my time to, you're the first Republican that I've had a civil conversation with. Okay. So I've gotten to understand your position, and I understand that you're not a Trumpster. I understand that that's just who you would personally prefer. I understand why you have your position politically. I understand that. But I also understand the position of other people that would go with Kamala. I understand position of people I know who go with Jill Stein, Cornel West, and other people. I like politics, and I look at politics in a way of, like, you know, they say there's two things you don't talk about, is politics and religion. Is that at the end of the day, it's a personal thing, you know, and you could come with all the evidence, things about, just say, the Republican and Democratic Party, which I do on my channel, you know, and there's things I present. I did a show on Slick Willie the other day, and all his little shamble dambles he did with involving Rwanda, to he did with Haiti, to his little comment that he just said recently about Palestine, you know. And you can present all that, you know what I'm saying? You can show all these type of evidences, and you know, look at Reagan. You know, people view Reagan as the greatest Republican to ever exist, and they refer to Reaganomics. And you know, when Reagan was in office and all this, and it's just like, okay, well, Reagan also was responsible for cocaine coming to the country. Reagan's also responsible with Oliver North. He's also responsible with Bush Sr. for this leading up to what is going on now, where people are complaining about the migrants, a term I don't like. But when people make this complaint about the migrants and they want to talk about the migrants all day, okay, but you complain about the migrants, but you're not complaining about the government. You're not complaining about the puppet politicians that the U.S. government put into places like Nicaragua and Chile and different places. And this situation has been going on prior to a Reagan. So you could present all the information, right? But it's like religion. You could show contradiction after contradiction after contradiction in the Bible, but people are going to justify it. So I look at it like this. We're going to agree to disagree. Something such as this, like in Discord and online, you know, there's things that, you know, look, I'm a creationist, okay? And most people are evolutionists.
Land your plane, Cuban. Land your plane.
I'm about to park my Huffy bike. And so it's, you know, it's, what are you going to do? It is what it is. People are going to have the views that they have. So it's either, if we're saying that we want something good out of this, we can agree to disagree without it becoming crazy. This doesn't have to turn into, you know, things. I don't even want to say that because that's what a can of worms. Just, you can agree to disagree, and there are things that you can learn from each other politically. There are things that you can see, like, okay, that makes, you know, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, that's not cool. Whatever. And just leave it like that. I mean, I ain't never salute the flag in my life. I've never been no pro
Time out.
Yeah,
bro, what's wrong with saluting the flag?
Time out.
Bro, you game banging on bacon? You game banging on bacon.
Time out.
You game banging on bacon, bro.
So, in all the years of your life, I mean,
46 years,
old.
I've never.
Okay, so 46 years.
Hold
on.
Never. Not from kindergarten to now. I've never I've never sing a pledge of any patriotic song. Never.
Okay.
Wow.
So from 46 years
Never.
going back, because
I'll take a lie detector test. I will pass it with flying colors. Never.
I don't know. You know, it's funny. You keep saying that these conversations,
calm down.
These conversations get contentious. You just did a whole spiel of we don't need to get contentious. We don't got to do this.
And he did it all.
You just do it all. Just give me 1 second. So you 46, which makes you pretty old. So you
pretty old.
That's not old.
No,
I was just a shot.
The rock in my backyard is older than me. What are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? 46
I don't even know. That sounds. I want to say pause right there, but I don't know. I'm gonna leave it.
The tree. The tree is the palm tree in my front yard.
Can I join?
No,
Call of Duty now.
Chill out, Stupid.
No, he said he want to join. What's the name of Call of Duty? Hit him up. Hit him up, Corey. So my question to you is, and I gotta let Hits up, so I'm gonna step down and let Hits up for a second. So here's my question. Here's my question. So you, because of your excelled age, when you that mean you definitely saluted the flag in school, no question.
No, I did not.
Hold on, wait, no.
Here we go.
But I'm answering your question. I did. I was kicked out of high school because I was the flag.
I didn't ask the question, Cuban.
You just said I stood the flag.
No, that wasn't a question. I said
you want to be Castro so bad.
Yeah, he did.
You want to be Castro so bad.
You see now you see that's what I mean by we can have a conversation without the ad hominems. Now, what if I turn around and say you want to be Trump so bad?
What if
I turn around and say y'all want to be Mitt Romney so bad? Y'all want to wear magic? Y'all want to wear magic?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I voted.
Y'all want to wear magic?
I'm gonna tell you. I voted Kamala.
Don't forget we got an. Don't forget we have a lady on the platform.
I said magic underwear. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say speedos. I said underwear. That's what they wear. They wear magic underwear.
I said that Cuban. If you would say that, I would laugh at you first of all. Then I would say I voted for Kamala.
Okay,
and you still. No matter what, with an amalgamation of how you talk, with an amalgamation of past situations, with an amalgamation of valuable information that you divulged to us, you really do hate America. We get it. And you feel like the military or FBI's want to get on you if you talk your point. We get it. Bro, relax. It's all good, Cubano. No.
What are you talking about? I never
relax.
That's
all we're trying to say. Now let's proceed. Hey, Hits.
Yeah, but you just said that I want to be I don't want to be Castro. You don't even know my views on Castro. What are you talking about? So that's like me saying you want to be Kamala Harris. You see what I'm saying? Like that.
But I voted for Trump. You gotta vote for Trump. Now which one?
That should be. I don't know. You want to be?
Yeah.
You want to be?
I'm just messing with you.
I don't know. That shit.
That's funny. What's up, Hits?
Hi, Mr. Hits.
What up? Am I gonna have to take my pain medicine early tonight?
Hey, I thought the same thing, man. I said, damn.
I need to lower my vibe.
I didn't know what was going on.
Where's my pain meds at? How y'all doing? Peace to the chat. I don't know,
man, we good. This is a good night. It's a good night.
It's peace. Yeah.
I hope everybody's doing all right. And I think y'all confused one term real quick. In school, we didn't salute the flag. You used to just put your hand on it. Military, you salute. So Cuban is right.
He's 100% right. He never saluted the flag.
Yeah.
So I never said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah.
I was too busy fiddling with stuff too, so I probably never said it either. You say the first few words and then start elbowing your friends and start messing with stuff. You know?
Hey, in Texas, we had to say the Texas Pledge. We had to learn that.
Both or just one?
Yep.
We had to say?
Now we had to learn. We say the American Pledge of Allegiance, then we had to say the Texas Pledge.
That's because y'all always on the brink of seceding, so y'all got to be ready with
that part.
With your own
at any time.
Your own
absolutely
anthem,
always.
Military language, everything. National bird. Y'all ready to go?
Oh man!
Add water and they're a whole nother country. It's just like that.
That's
Logic?
Yeah, I agree with that. They got one foot out at all times. they always could just threaten. You know, we just gonna take our ball and go home.
Yeah,
they absolutely right there on the verge of it. So you know, that's
We love everybody.
Well, for sure, man. Actually, Cuban, it's a good conversation for us to get into, man. But yeah, man, like let's just ease up on each other. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even do. I'm not mad at nobody. I didn't do anything.
Just for moving forward, I'm not gonna harp on it. I want the conversation to stay constructive for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not my thing, man. That's not my thing. I'm not gonna do that.
What's not your thing? Having a constructive conversation?
No, art being disrespectful. That's not. I don't do that, man. I don't do that.
I
actually like yours. I ain't gonna do that.
Likewise.
I'm merciful,
He's unmerciful. This nigga gangster.
No. I mean, I don't know what happened to Brass, but I think so. Okay, like here's a prime example. I think that there was a way for us to really get what we are looking for out of that conversation, and it not necessarily had to be an attack, right? And I was sitting there patient, maybe a little bit too patient, and now he's gone. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, he's coming back.
But when he comes back, I think the conversation should probably be more about, what is it that he's familiar with about the Republican Party and their policies that is bringing him to that conclusion, right? Rather than just assuming that my point of view or someone else's point of view is the only point of view that makes sense. Like actually, maybe he probably can and give us some insight as far as how he's arrived there or what has actually brought him there, because and it's twofold, right? Because if you look at what a lot of Kamala's policies are, I could see where somebody who owns a couple businesses and has a couple investments, how that works directly against their interest, right? And so maybe he's not voting.
Like what specifically? I hear
What
hear
specifically that. Like she wants to tax unrealized capital gains. She wants to
after your like 40 millionth the dollar though. Like how?
It may not necessarily affect me.
At what point is you gonna make your 40th million?
I'm making a point where where it may not affect me, but I don't know what that man's situation is. I could see if he has a lot of investment.
I'm sure he ain't. Listen, It's not if he making 40 million a year. And he's taxed 90% on his 40th millionth dollar, right? It ain't gonna hurt him, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, I ain't gonna speak for him, but my point is,
I know for sure he ain't making $40 million. Like
it's been an update.
You never know.
I know for sure he ain't making $40 million a year. I just know
he might surprise us.
Listen, we need to cut. We need to cut it out. Like
it was just like me using that as I could see why.
We need to cut that out. That's a wild talking point.
I can't even get it out.
No, I'm just saying like that the one talking point is wild to me. I can see you saying you can understand.
How about this? We can meet in the middle. It's a bad example. Bad example, right?
What y'all talking about?
Business.
Corey was just saying it's impossible.
We talking about you making $40 million. Like Kamala gonna tax you 70%.
Who y'all talking about?
You.
Right.
I was only gone 10 minutes and I done made
Tell him you make 43 million.
Hey, let me leave for 20 minutes and come back and see how much I can make.
I know I'm exaggerating, but
Jesus Christ.
He said it'll hurt your business because she's talking about putting a 70% tax on corporations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's after like they made like 100 million, like on that $100 millionth dollar, like then that dollar is taxed.
Oh, that's not true though.
What's the policy then? Go ahead.
400,000.
No.
No, it's 400,000.
No, 400.
The highest tax rate.
No, it's not.
No. It's not about the highest tax rate, right?
Okay.
You probably are paying, and that's low middle class. I'm just letting you know that, right?
What are y'all talking?
For all of y'all who thinking 400,000 and you live in some rich, lavish life. That's not what they talking about when you talk about.
No, and then the 400,000 has to be for a married couple, right?
No, it doesn't.
If you making 250, if you making 250,
that's an individual tax. That's 400,000 is individual. It's not.
No, it's individual is 250.
It's 400.
Let me see that.
Okay, yeah, look it up.
So that makes it if it's individual 400, that makes it even better, because if it's a married couple, then you're making 800,000 before they start waxing you for tax.
No, it's an individual tax. Go ahead, Corey.
What I'm saying is,
what it is.
It's a billionaire minimum
It's an
tax.
individual tax rate. Huh?
So we're talking about three different things, but go ahead.
Y'all talking about three different things.
Yeah, we are.
I came in late to the conversation.
Yeah,
Corey,
y'all go back to the original one.
So she was finna go ahead and she got the print. She got it up. She got it pulled up. Go ahead, sister.
Okay. On the campaign trail, this is from CNN. I'm quoting sources here. From October. On the campaign trail, Harris has said she supports a billionaire minimum tax. A billionaire minimum tax is one of several proposals that are designed to affect the wealthiest Americans pay their fair share. Currently, some middle and high income people are subject to a tax on realized capital gains. Oh, I don't like my big head on here. Realized capital gains, which results when an asset like a stock or a home is sold for more than what the owner originally paid for it. Yes, that's a capital gain. Essentially, it's a tax on the profit. She specifically called for raising the top tax rate on millionaires with long-term realized capital gains from 20% to 28%. Most taxpayers would not be impacted. How it would work is currently a homeowner pays a tax on the growth in the value of a home when it is sold or realized, but a tax on, yeah. So this is from October 6th. And
so, yeah, that's the capital gains tax too. But also, like, so if you, I think they got a line too where if you making over $1 million a year, like that, they're gonna tax that $999, right? I think they're gonna tax that like 70% or something like that. Also, so
and it would have to pass through Congress.
Yeah, all of that does have to go through Congress. It's 3 equal branches of government. She's not going to come in and start laying down the law like Donald Trump want to, right? That's not what she's going to try to do. But what I'm saying is, so back to Logic's point, right? Because I keep hearing like, well, because this policy I can understand, because I'm trying to figure out what specific policy would make a working class, because let's not fool each other here again, because I know you wanted to go to, well, it's possible Brass could be making $40 million a year, right? I know you wanted to do that.
The threshold is $100 million. The threshold is $100 million.
It's even way crazier. So we ain't nowhere near. We can't even talk about that kind of taxes. That ain't affecting us in no way.
But tax rates do affect us, though, Corey. Y'all keep talking about 100 million. I'm telling you,
tax rates affect us. Tax rates affect us.
No, but I'm saying 400,000. I stand. Harris plans to increase taxes on individuals earning over $400,000 annually. This includes raising the top marginal tax rate and adjusting capital gains tax for high-income earners. Hold on. Corporate tax. She proposes raising the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, which could affect business owners and investors. That I don't make $100 million, but that affects me directly. Both of those.
What percent of black people make 400,000 a year? Let's look at the whole.
I'm not about to denigrate black people. I don't even
No,
want to have
that's
that
not
conversation.
denigration. Telling
what
telling the
percentage
truth.
of Americans? What percent?
Well,
don't
what
even
percentage
talk
of
about
Americans?
Don't even talk about black people. Talk
what
about
percentage of
Americans.
Americans make 400,000 a year?
Go ahead, pull it. And not enough for all us on the panel to be worried. Oh my God!
14 million people make over
and what percentage is that?
200,000.
What percentage is that?
14% of all households.
Yeah. No, just at 14 million.
14 million.
14 million is
divided by
less than 5%.
Less than 5%.
Hold on. If you look on the screen, this is probably from 2022, right? In my notebook LM, we already did a class on that. So whoever doesn't know what notebook LM is, go back to some of our old videos. Top 5 recent challenges for African Americans. The first one is economic inequality. The U.S. Census showed that the median household income for black households, $51,000.
We can't even be talking about worrying about
$400.
They're gonna take my $400,000. They're gonna start taxing me on my $400,000, right? But black folks here, see what I'm saying? Here, black folks don't have. I'm not saying Brad's gonna make by himself 40 million, right? What I'm saying is black folks is averaging 50,000.
Household.
The household. That's including the husband, the wife, everybody. The kid got a paper route and everything, right? We better stop. Listen, what the number one, and I'm gonna let you go, sister, or hits. The number one problem with America, and I've been saying this for 4-5 years now. The only problem America has is white folks and black folks voting against their own interests.
The best interest.
Voting against their interests. Go ahead, y'all.
Go ahead, sister.
But this is but this is why. But okay, so. But this is why I don't vote against
in other communities.
This is why I don't vote against.
Hold on, you thinking
hold on. This is why I'm saying I don't vote against my own interests. Those policies directly affect me and my family.
Right.
And for this, and I put a banner up. Hold on. And this is the second part of the question that I asked earlier was, I understand what you're saying, Stu Peas, and you say, we don't do the collective, but I don't look at black people in the United States as a collective.
But other people do.
Hold on, let me. Okay, that's fine.
With that number. That was a number right there. You don't have to want to be a part of that, right? You are part of that whether you like it or not.
Okay.
That number that he gave right there. You in that number. You are in that number.
I'm not saying I'm not African. Hold on. I didn't say I was African American. That I'm not African American. I didn't say that I'm not a part of it. But I'm saying when I say I vote my interest, those two particular things are very problematic for me personally. Me personally, my family personally. It's very those two. That tax rate is unnecessary for me.
If I'm
all right, can I ask you my question, Corey? Corey, can I ask you my question?
It's not about to become the Brad show. This is why I do not go live. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question, big brother?
And her raising, if you make 400,000,
more than that,
more than 400. If you make $1 million a year, right, and your taxes get raised, you ain't going to the poorhouse. You ain't gonna worry about your next meal.
Corey, I'm not asking about that. Corey, can I ask you my question, please?
You ain't worrying about buying your medications. You ain't worrying about pay your fair share, whatever. Because I'm willing to raise mine. I don't even make 400, right? But I can. If my taxes got raised, I wouldn't have a problem with it as long as they get allocated right. See, this is the problem we forget. This is where we get all jumbled up and we listening to these not only the news channels, but the billionaire. We think one day we gonna be a billionaire and a millionaire and a trillion. If we gotta listen, we need to cut it out because listen, as long as my money is getting allocated the right way, if I have free health care, right? If my kids could go to school and all that kind of stuff, raise my taxes. I'm willing to pay more taxes. I like the trash man to come pick up my trash.
So you
right?
just trust the government that much, right? That's what you do. You just want to hand all your money. No, just give all the money to the government and let them figure it out. That's pretty much what you're saying.
Because American people make up the government.
No. See that's where that would be where you're wrong too. But I get
the government up.
America, I get what you're saying, but when they get into office, you said
my homeboy Jason Chickowitz, right? A lawyer Jason Chickowitz, right? He moving up. He moving up to the lieutenant governor's office. See what I'm saying? Like,
so you said
he's an American person.
You said a very key thing. You said you don't mind paying more taxes. Now that would put you in the minority because most people wouldn't. I can't. Those aren't even statements. And I deal in politics every day, and those are not statements. Matter of fact, I don't think I've heard that this political cycle. I don't mind paying more taxes. That ain't even something that I would hear.
I wouldn't mind.
But I understand that's a point. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, in most cases, that's not something that you vote for. More taxes.
Can I say something?
That's not something. Go ahead, Stu, please.
Can I say something? Because I understand where you're coming from, but let's be realistic. Let's say since 1950, which party has been economically better for the United States of America since 1950? Because people like to talk about the Republican Party and it's better for business. Yet still, America has been proven to be more economically successful when the Democratic Party is in power.
Why did you say specifically 1950? I'm curious.
I said since 1950 onward.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Why did you start the metric
I'm going
at
all the way. I'm going back 50 years. Whether we want to believe it or not.
That's 75 years.
Or 75 years. All right, let's do a comparison for the last 25 years then. Was America better under the Bushes or under Obama? When was the stock market was
Bush
better
was
under
a terrible
Obama?
president. Bush was a terrible president. We all know that. Yeah,
was it better?
Junior. Bush, the other Bush wasn't that bad.
Both of them. Was it economically better under Clinton or under Reagan?
Under Clinton or under Reagan?
Yeah.
Reagan.
It was Reagan, then it was Clinton, right?
Reagan. No, you said Clinton came after Ronald Reagan?
Yeah. Who came after Reagan? No, Bush. Under Bush.
Oh, you're saying directly after it was Bush Sr.
It was Bush Sr., then it was Clinton. But I'm going to condense Bush Sr. and Reagan in the same, because it's 12 years. Clinton did more for the economy than Reagan and Bush combined. He left a surplus. The national debt was down. It was better under Clinton than Reagan, and it was better under Clinton than Bush, and then it was better than under Obama, and it was better under Biden than Trump. Biden took an economy which was one of the worst in the last 50 years, 60 years, when with a recession, although prices are high now, and America recovered faster than any other country in the world. And that cannot be denied. Biden economy was better than Trump economy. So when you're promoting that, because it's in my best interest, it's not in your best interest to have a Republican in power.
And that's the thing, though, right? It could be in Brass's best interest, right? So we can't have a argument with somebody who's talking about their own personal interests. Not in the whole political sphere.
I apologize. You're right, because for him it could be better, but on a whole, it is never better for nobody. black, white, Chinese, Indian, Asian. But the economies of all is proving better under Democrat for everybody else.
And absolutely, when I speak too, especially about politics, I'm more generally speaking about American people in general, right?
Me too.
Whoever you are as an American
when I
person.
said him, I was referring to him as a whole group of Republicans. I apologize, Brad, if you think it's a direct attack.
No. I don't. I try. No. I don't do
that's
that.
not what I'm doing.
No. I appreciate everybody's point. I am. Do you have anything you want to say to that? Because she's only. I will highlight her directly because a lot of times we're used to it just being guys on the panel, and we don't. We'll speak over people that don't talk as much or females when they get on the panel. So I am. Do you have anything you want to say to that? And then I want to get to this question.
I'm very excited for your question. We can skip to that.
Okay, I appreciate that. So to end that conversation earlier, one of the things that I had a thought of, and this is kind of directed your question, and the answer to your question was Democrats, by the way. It's for a number of reasons, but we'd have to do a whole show on that. Economic downturn, technology. Yeah. We'd have to do another show.
I know that. Anybody who is truthful and has character.
Yeah, no, it's Democrats.
It's
Democrats probably by about gross domestic product, I say about between 2 and 3% better. So, but better, nonetheless, better. Definitely better. So when they were saying earlier that me voting red per se, I'm ascribing to be a white Western European man, which is I'm still trying to grapple that in my soul. Oh, matter of fact, he said I need to do some soul searching too, DQ and Logic and Hits. He said I need to do some soul searching with me as a black man. I need to search my soul if I voted for Trump. But then I began to think about this, and I'll send the question to you first. So he said that voting for the Republican Party is essentially voting for white supremacy. That it's essentially voting for a white collective that I'm supporting them as a black man. So before I got offended, my first thought, which was weird, was, do you actually believe voting Democrat is casting a vote for black people? And the only reason I said that was because they kept saying she's a black woman, black woman, black woman. They kept saying it over and over again. So in my head, it's like, is voting Democrat or Kamala Harris, voting for Kamala Harris, casting a vote for black people across the United States? Go ahead, you start that.
Absolutely not.
Hold on, I'm gonna let start. Then we'll go to
she go first. I want to hear her point of view. Okay. And then I don't have to talk because she'll say everything I want to say. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
It's my team member. But my answer to the question is voting for Kamala Harris or a Republican candidate, whoever they may be, a vote for Black people? My answer is absolutely not. Just like voting for Obama was not a vote for Black people. We don't have any candidates, right? We vote for who is put before us, right? And so what I really want us to think about is participating on a higher level, running our own candidates, picking our candidates, financing our candidates, lobbying. That is participating in politics on a high level. I think voting is a part of it, but we're not participating in the same way that the dominant group is if we're just voting. But no, I don't think a Democratic vote is just automatically good for us. That is rhetoric that we have been trained and fed, and it's been so effective because we have been so super loyal to this party who does not, I mean, I can put it on both sides. On one side, no, they don't really do anything significant for us in a way that earns that kind of loyalty. But on the other hand, I have to put some accountability back in our court. We aren't coming with ask. We aren't organized when it comes to what we want and demanding what we want. And like I said, beyond that, running our own candidates, picking our own candidates, financing that.
Nice. Go ahead, Logic. You're on mute.
You're muted.
He got that new Mac. He got a new MacBook. I am. He don't know what to do.
I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. But no, I liked everything. I liked everything she said right there. I don't think she said anything that I disagree with. As a matter of fact, I would definitely emphasize that we don't organize what we are trying to accomplish well. And when we make statements like this unanimous black vote, we are skipping past that stage as if we sat down beforehand and agreed that this is the one particular thing that we want, left or right.
We're not making deals.
Right. Like, so that's like, it doesn't, when you talk about, if we're all supposed to vote this way or vote that way, well, we kind of haven't really established which way of those things works best for us and why. So that's, again, we actually got here because of, I mean, I don't have no other way to say it. Like, I think, Corey, you misunderstood the example I was trying to use, right? And again, I'm gonna try to, because I think there's a constructive way to have that part of the conversation, right? I can see where some of the policies that Kamala has put out doesn't benefit brass or somebody who's more Republican leaning, right? So I would be asking him, so what are some of the policies that Republican has that makes it make sense for him to be leaning in that direction? Not that I think that specifically he makes this amount of money, or that's not what I'm saying. I mean, that wasn't the relevant part of what I was trying to say. And I think that that's like where the constructive part of the conversation is, because like if we're sitting up here trying to pretend there's some unanimous decision that we haven't all agreed upon as far as which way black people should vote, should it be Kamala, should it be Trump? I don't understand that, right? And I don't see that as a reality for us right now. Like, in all seriousness, if we're talking about just this YouTube sector, we're not going to agree. So if we include the other, 14 million black people out there, like it's going to be even more diverse as far as what the opinions is, or what they want, what their economic situation is, what their value is, where they would vote in this direction, that direction. So I don't see the emphasis on this unanimous black vote thing. I don't understand that. I don't. It sounds like a fantasy to me.
We should get something for it.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Stupiz. I want to hear what Corey got to say.
That's a beautiful question. The question you asked was, is it in the best interest of black people to vote Democrat? Was that the question?
No, the question is voting Democrat or voting for Kamala Harris casting a vote for black people?
And black people, because of the population in the United States of America, has to be a part of a coalition. On the grand basis, the group is not big enough to have demands without being a part. There's only 14% of the population. Black people, 14 to 18% of the population. White people is 60. Mexican is 30. Right? So as a result, you have to form coalition, and you have to be with a group that will tend to you in some way that you don't feel like you're getting nothing out of the deal. Since the great change from Dixiecrat to Democrat, from Republicans to Democrat, the switch which occurred, the Democratic Party has done more for black people. And as I said earlier, the economic growth that experienced, although it was not directly for black people benefited more when it was a Democrat in power. People might say the Democratic Party has never done anything. No, it hasn't, but indirectly, because of the success of the party economically, a little was sprinkled onto black people. Black people lost more when Ronald Reagan was in power. He took away so many of the social programs that it directly influenced his community. Bush didn't give a flying F. Black people were pulled back even more. Clinton, when he was in power, he wasn't doing anything directly for black people. But because the economy was stronger, it allowed black people to be more successful. We have to call a spade a spade. Black people has prospered more under the Democratic Party. Could they have done more? Yes, they could. Should they have done more? Yes, they should have. But has black people prospered more under the Democratic Party than the Republican Party? Nobody in here can deny that. I said, no, they haven't.
Are y'all familiar with, before we go to you, Corey, Good point, Stupies. Because somebody chat GPT this question, I want to hear it. I'm curious to that one, and then I like this question from Desmond. Peace to you, Desmond. I want to hear that answer too. If anybody could chat GPT them questions. Are y'all familiar with Trump's tax policy at all? Like some of the highlights of his tax policy? Are y'all familiar? Because I think a lot of times we just keep focusing on that Trump is focusing on the rich people, but it's also no tax on Social Security. There's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on. Hold on, let me look this up. I'm bugging out. I don't want to say the wrong things. I know I get analyzed off the wazoo. Let me just be clear. All right, so it's no tax on because I know y'all keep saying he wants to lower the corporate income tax rate from 21% to 20%, so that's 1%, rather than her raising it 7%. Lower the corporate income tax rate to 15% for companies that make their products in the U.S., which I think that's positive. He wants to increase the child tax credit to $5,000. Exempt Social Security benefits from taxation, tip income from taxation, overtime pay, create a deduction for auto loan interest, create a tax credit for family caregivers, and tax large private and university endowments. Now, the first two things I could see where y'all say that this is something that rich. Outside of that, and just a quick, y'all, no tax on overtime. So, because y'all keep talking about working class, and I agree with Trump in this statement. That overtime, people that do work overtime are the not saying I would focus more on them, but I do appreciate a person that will put extra work into their job, whether it be for finances or to build somebody else's company. But taxes on not having taxes on overtime, that seems like that's something for everybody. So not having taxes on tips, Social Security, deduction for loan interest, tax credit for family caregivers, and raising the child tax credit to $5,000. That's for everyone. Correct? So I know we're focused on what he's doing for the upper income. And by the way, 400,000 is top 1% in the United States. So that's answer the earlier question. So you would have a problem with those things if we're saying not me, or you're saying like just the average American or something like that, you would have a actual issue with those things?
Yeah, but listen.
Yes, and this is why I have a problem with no taxes on overtime. What is Trump's history and view on overtime? What is Trump's view on unions that protect overtime? Trump is not a component of overtime. So when he says no taxes on overtime, it doesn't mean anything, because how he views overtime and how he sees overtime and how he sees protections of people doing overtime, and that has been expressed. Why are you going to get no tax on something that they're not paying for?
But let's okay, we don't know if either candidate is actually going to be able to execute their policy. I'm just saying the policy
some of them
as
aren't
presented. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Ian?
I was saying some of them aren't policy; they are campaign promises. So for some of right. So for some of these, they don't even have an actual plan. For example, Trump doesn't have a health care plan yet. He was still working on it at the time of the debates. I'm on his website now under the issues and platforms tabs, and it's very general stuff. Number 6, large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. But there's nothing beyond that. So we have to take into account at some point during this conversation that a lot of these things aren't actual policies. They're things that they're saying because they're campaigning right now.
Now hold on. Before you say that, wouldn't that be both sides though?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%.
Because we're also talking about a person that just presented, Kamala Harris just presented her policy less than 60 days ago.
Yeah.
I mean, but we had 60 days to look at her policy. But
boy, you will cap. Go ahead, Corey.
What I'm saying, let me say this.
I want to see Corey
because I wanted to address like 7 things, but half of them I forgot. So what I'm saying, like everything you named, right? Especially all of these, everybody's getting tax cuts for everybody. How you pay for that? Like the deficit is already from his last tax cuts, right?
The TCJ, right?
His last tax cuts cost us $2 trillion, right? How you gonna pay for that? When you gonna get you gonna cut taxes again? Like so where you getting that money from? They already talking about gutting Social Security, right? So like to get all of those tax cuts, right? Everybody's getting tax cut. Ain't nobody paying taxes no more. How do you fund the government?
Okay, well, so let's be clear on something, because I am a realist too, right? Only thing I'm doing is presenting the information that I saw. Now I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I don't think there's any politician on this planet that's gonna vote for these. I'm just listen. I can't. I'm the guy that understands the politics. Like we could say it on both sides. I don't think anything. I don't know how she's gonna pay for what she wants to do. I don't know how he's gonna pay for what she wants to do.
Already,
I can only present
they keep
the
asking her that.
information.
They never ask Trump how he gonna pay for it.
Oh no,
they keep asking her how she gonna pay for it.
Hey Corey, guess who asks him?
Joe Rogan.
There's no Republicans that's gonna vote for the majority of the TCJA to just be permanent, because that essentially what he's trying to do is take the tax plan that he had when he was president before and make it permanent now. But it's gonna be very difficult for that to pass even within the party. He's gonna need a lot of bipartisan support.
Could you define the TCJ for an ignoramus like me?
You're not an ignoramus, 2 Ps.
No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Could you explain the TCJ?
No, it's basically his individual and estate tax cuts is what he gave the name. I could look up and see what it stands for, but it's part of what does it stand for? Oh, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That's what it stands for.
Yeah, but it said it doubled the standard deduction, expanded the child tax credit, and spurred economic growth for all Americans. We will eliminate taxes on tips for millions of restaurant and hospitality workers and pursue additional tax cuts.
Yeah, I agree. YouTube 91. I agree.
Yeah. And not only that, Kamala got that in her policy too, but.
But why not ask the
plan
question
to
of how she's going to pay for that? Trump is up
to make the corporations pay. She's putting taxes. She's raising the taxes on those billionaires and trillionaires.
You got a problem with people making money. I swear to you, Corey.
No.
I swear to you,
in my
Corey,
opinion, I'm gonna tell the truth. In my opinion, it should be illegal. We should not have billionaires and trillionaires. There should be no such thing as a billionaire. Now, I know that sounds uncomfortable.
Billionaires, boo.
See, look, no. It's not like I'm
but Corey,
on them.
Corey. But this is the thing, bro. What they don't get when Brass is laughing at, he's laughing because if there's no billionaires and millionaires, then capitalism doesn't exist.
Not millionaires, billionaires and trillionaires.
Billionaires, trillionaires, the capitalism don't exist. That's all it is.
No, that's fine. I'm not against capitalism. I'm not against capitalism. What I am against is capitalism run rampant. That's where we at. That's where we at right now. That's how you get billionaires and trillionaires. That's why when the pandemic, listen, y'all didn't see when the pandemic hit, those who were billionaires turned into trillionaires. That's due to capitalism run rampant. No, don't give a fuck. No, nothing matters but the dollar. Nothing matters but making them investors. See, one thing about these corporations, right? They got investors. And the only thing that makes an investor, right, happy is if he makes more money than he made last year. So all they got to do, all these corporations,
Hey, Corey,
and when they fuck up, listen, when they mess up, see, this is the problem. This is the problem, Brass. And I know I hear you. I hear y'all. I hear what you finna say, right?
Right.
But this the problem with that. Soon as that corporation grows too big to fail, is which these billionaires and trillionaires are right now, American Airlines, United, you name them.
There's no
JP
such thing as a trillionaire, too. By the way,
JP Morgan. No. Them
there are
billionaires.
there are no trillionaires on the planet. But go ahead.
Businesses, corporations. That's fine. There's no individual. There's no individual.
I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm just want to let you know that those billionaire corporations, right? That were billionaire corporations, they are now trillionaire corporations. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm not saying one guy got $1 trillion liquid money in his pocket. No, I'm not saying that, Brass. So just to let you know that, right? But what I'm telling you, Brass, but like before, these billionaire, trillionaire companies, they grow too big to fail, so-called, right? Then once they make a bad decision, right, they call on me, right? The concrete worker. They call on Sister Girl right here. The real estate
Miss Pemberton,
right?
Corey.
Don't forget Miss Tell him, Corey.
Don't forget
Miss Pemberton, the teacher.
Subsidies.
They call on us and say, "Bail me out." Listen,
we need your money.
I would be okay. See, it's all funny and it's fun and games, and I'm hating on the billionaires and trillionaires. But every time they make a bad decision, they come running to me, right? and not only that,
Corey,
not only that.
In most instances, they wouldn't be billionaires or trillionaires without government and tax dollars. So they don't even got to come to you when they hurting.
How
they go
did
there beforehand?
The intellectual property, right, of the people, of the workers. How do you think a factory function? The factory go through tests, right? And they take data on the factory, right? And the data is taken from the worker. The worker makes the factory work efficient because Jimbo done worked here for 30 years.
I love these names.
And Jimbo know how to tell this guy what to do. He know how to tell that guy what to do. He know how, and then guess what? That company that the investors want to make more money. So they say, you know what, Jimbo? I don't give a damn that you worked here for 30 years. We appreciate you showing us how to run this motherfucker. But now we gonna take it cross seas and let Wong Chi's daughter run the motherfucker. His 13-year-old daughter run the motherfucker for 13-year-old cent. For 13 cents. That's what we gonna do. But my point before you got me there, Brass.
Shout out to Jimbo, bro. Shout out to Jimbo.
Shout out to Jimbo, who done worked at the factory for 30 years. Now Wang Chi's daughter is in Taiwan.
Yo, where do you get? Hold on. Where do you get?
This man got to write a book. I learned this.
Just say Young Chi's daughter.
I want to
keep it real. Where do you get this?
I can't do nothing but tell the truth. I see it's a million You know Jimbo live in your family.
Shout out to Jimbo.
Jimbo is in your
pure
family.
black. Shout out to Jimbo, bro. I swear.
Jimbo, everybody on the panel got a Jimbo in the family. Somebody who worked down at the local factory.
Some of us are Jimbo.
Some of the people are Jimbo.
And it's not
Jimbo Jackson.
To me, that's not funny.
Name. Jimbo is just a terrible name.
To me, it's not funny. But Jimbo, he worked and they took the data. See, listen, they took the data off of Jimbo, right? And Jimbo ran that factory for 30 years. Now they got it efficient. They see where Jimbo was fucking up at. They see where Jimbo did good at, right? So now they got it down to a science. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the investors some more money because we're going to send it overseas and let Wong Chi's daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, run the factory, right?
For 13 cents an hour.
For 13 cents an hour. And they got the data from Jimbo. See, this is what I'm saying. And Jimbo didn't get paid for that. Jimbo got his hourly wage. He didn't get paid for making the corporation run efficient enough to say fuck Jimbo. See what I'm saying? See, this is what we uncomfortable with. And this is what we snicker and we play games and we say,
it's the names. It's the Jimbo and the
maybe Trump's policy ain't so bad. Maybe Trump maybe the corporation, maybe Corey, you was a billionaire hater. Why would you,
You
hate
are
on
a
a
billionaire
nigga?
hater. No
Why
question.
would you hate on somebody who got $1 trillion? You's a hater, Corey. This is what y'all trying to tell me. But I'm trying to tell you that it's illegal. What they doing is stealing from Jimbo. That's how they became a trillionaire, because they stole from Jimbo. They stole off his back.
Jimbo tomorrow, bro. I don't want to
stole off Jimbo's back, and they stole off Jimbo's brain.
Corey, can I say something, Corey? Corey, let me say something, please. Let me say something. Corey, there was this dude that was working at McDonald's for 40 years. And in his 40 years, you know what McDonald's gave him? A t-shirt and a free lunch. That's Jimbo. That's Jimbo. These corporations, you help them to get wealthy and they give back nothing to the worker.
All right, let's try to get back on topic. Speaking of Jimbo, who was the plumber guy that they rolled out a few elections ago? What was his name? Joe the plumber? I don't know if
he didn't have a plumbing license. He didn't have a plumbing license. Remember that.
But what I'm saying is they rolled out,
and he was a fake plumber.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying they rolled out the persona of a working class person, right? So that was their goal. There is to reach the working class. We won't necessarily call them the middle class. We'll just say the working class. So this go round, we got Jimbo and Wang Chi.
Can't forget Miss Pemberton. Miss Pemberton is this. I wait for her. This is to address, because I like to fact check while y'all be so long-winded. Capitalism could exist without billionaires or trillionaires. It would likely look different. Capitalism is an economic system rooted in private ownership, competition, and market-based exchanges, not necessarily defined by the presence of billionaires. Private ownership in markets, small and medium enterprises, wealth caps, and redistribution. In essence, capitalism would likely still function without extreme wealth. It would focus more on equitable wealth distribution, stronger small and medium businesses, and perhaps more community-oriented or government-supported investment in growth and innovation. So, like me and Cuban have conversations about capitalism, I think a lot of people's problem with capitalism is not necessarily the capitalism that is necessarily the definition of it. There is predatory capitalism, and I agree.
No, I don't by your standards.
Capitalism ran rampant.
Yeah, I don't not agree with that.
It's the redistribution that's the problem. That's the problem. It's not even the vulture or whatever capitalism you call it. It's the redistribution aspect. No one person does $1 billion worth of work.
Right.
You got 1 billion people doing $30 worth of work an hour.
No, it's a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The question is wealth finite? Is wealth finite or infinite?
$1 worth of work is Jimbo.
Wealth is definitely finite.
Right. So if wealth is finite, that means wealth is fixed. How is it that very few people have so much of the wealth? That's going to be a problem.
Wait. How did you go? No. That second statement, you said wealth is finite, which means that it's fixed. What you mean by that?
That means people don't.
It's only so much money.
Wealth.
It's so much.
You're creating wealth.
No. That ain't what he means. He means there's only so much value.
There's a fixed amount. Yeah.
It's only a fixed amount of value.
There's some
actual value. Yeah, go ahead though. I hear
actual value in the world.
But even that's not true. If I buy if I hold on, I'm gonna give an example. If I buy a property for $100,000,
right,
it's not gonna stay that. It can in 10, 15, 20 years, that same property could be worth $3 million. So it's not.
But right now, you got something like fixed rate.
Value.
So
no, the
actual value.
But hold on. Right now, you have things like fixed rates. They have to vary over time. So right now, like Stu Pease is saying, right now things are fixed until something happens. Markets change. Values change. Things like that. Until then, they are fixed. If the interest rate is 8% and it's fixed rate, a variable rate only depends on certain things after the amount of time. So
a shelter is only as good as the amount of people it can hold,
right?
Sanitarily, right? Humanely. That's the actual. We're talking about actual value, not how much money it's worth, right?
Okay. Because you have actual value and you have speculative value. I have
money ain't
speculative
wealth
value.
because they can print money. So it's money.
They print money every day. So
yeah,
I hear what y'all saying. My perspective is just a little different. That's all.
No, because how I see it is that if you add up all the trees in the world, all the fresh water in the world, all the diamonds, all the gold, it's a fixed amount.
Nope, because you can grow trees.
Realistically, it's a fixed amount. Because if you
No,
cut
it's
down the
not.
tree,
I mean, I want to let you.
No, you can grow trees, but as they
it
get
takes
used,
50
there's
years.
gonna be an average. There's gonna be an average fixed amount, bro.
Yes,
Go ahead.
because after you cut down the trees, it's going to take 50 years for trees to grow back to the size that was.
Go ahead. I am.
Even hundreds.
How much is an idea worth? Idea. Intellectual property is that's an infinite amount of money. You could print money if you got the right idea.
No, but that
is a modern concept. The idea that intellectual IP is a modern concept. Sorry about that. My mic fucked up. Sorry.
No, it's not. It's not.
Loud.
Go ahead. I am.
Let me turn down my mic. Sorry, I didn't know that.
No, you're not too loud. Good. I am.
Just me then. Okay, my bad.
I love his accent.
Go ahead.
I think what he means is that it's measurable, it's quantifiable. You can assign value to it, and you can assign dollar value to it, even with intellectual property. You can have, how if you watch Shark Tank and Mr. Wonderful will say, I want to receive dividends into perpetuity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even income into perpetuity, an infinite amount of income can be valued in dollars today. That's how he makes it. That essentially is a valuation.
For the valuation,
blessings. Right. So that's what we call a valuation in finance. And so yes, wealth is finite in that it can be measured as a snapshot, and on one day, one place, one space, one time, you can quantify it.
Okay, so he means in like a moment in time per se.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can measure it.
Okay. I would agree with that. I used to be really into watches and stuff like that. But then, that's that Jacob stupid stuff and all of that, right? But then now when I look at stuff for that my son's son or daughter's daughter may have, and I don't know what that's going to be. I look at stuff like cryptocurrency. So when we start talking about finance and things like that, there was a guy, it's a myth. They said it was a myth. It was actually a true story. They were in such a fever to prove that you could buy things with cryptocurrency in the early 90s, late 90s. And he bought like a pizza. He bought yeah, you heard the story too, right? He bought pizza for 55 crypto coins. 55,000. Okay, so he bought it for that. What that is worth, that slice, that pizza, I think is worth in the trillions now. So it's like I just my perspective is always
but crypto is an agreed upon currency between parties. It's not something that they can force it to. That's why he did that, because you can't force that on a structure that already exists, like the existing monetary structure. That's an agreed upon a medium of exchange. It's not cryptographic, and it's not technically a currency. It's an agreed upon payment system for a group of people.
Right.
So that's not a global, that there's no standards to it. There are now, you even have platforms where we don't have to, but most people sell and trade their crypto on. So that's the thing about that. That's an agreed upon.
When it comes to that, that's all. When it comes to wealth in 2024, for the last couple of years, most wealth has been speculative. What I mean by speculative, Elon Musk's company, if you had up all the assets of Elon Musk's company and you compare it to the value of Elon Musk's company is severely overvalued. But if you go back 100 years, a company assets is oftentimes more than the actual value. So when that company, if that company should be liquidated, you can recover a significant proportion of its value.
Yeah, tangible.
That's called the intrinsic value.
Yeah,
Intrinsic
we're
value
talking
is
about
the
two different
value.
kinds of value now.
Yeah, the intrinsic value. But no, a lot of companies don't have an intrinsic value that is comparable to the market value. So as a result, oftentimes when these companies are moved at, they cannot recover. They crash. That is why Elon Musk now is in Trump pocket, because he's realized that his IP.
That's
his
when they
car-
come and holler at us. That's when they come say, "Oh, working man that I've been that I've been fucking over
again, Corey."
Yeah, see, he telling you, he giving you the time period. See, I told you the story, right? Now, Stu Pease is giving you the time period of when they gonna come holler at you. Go ahead and continue on.
Hold on, but
because
they
intrinsic value, intrinsic value
but do you
ain't
understand?
meeting up
all right, but let's
with
talk
the
about
with the market value.
Right, but let's talk about
see what I'm saying?
Hold on. Let's talk about the market though with Tesla. Hold on, with Elon Musk.
Then when everybody starts saying, "Oh no, I want my cash now, bro." Come on, see when the intrinsic value don't meet up with the market value, and the investors say, "You know what, bro? I don't like this no more. Just give me my money. Just come on with my money, man." Right? When the investors do that, then they say, "Oh, working man. I need you, working man, because these folks want their money, and I told them it was worth this much, but I really only got this much. But the working man, see, I need you. I know I've been paying you $8.50, and I ain't even giving you no health care plan, right? But I need you to bail me out with the 30%. That I've been taking out of that $450 check that you've been getting for the past 10 years. They've been taking 30% out of that, bro. Now, all of a sudden, I need you to bail me out because I couldn't meet the intrinsic value with the market value. See, that's what I keep telling you about Donald Trump, because Donald Trump don't pay his bills. See, why we keep not saying that? Why we keep not saying this building, this developer, this real estate developer, right? He don't pay the people who construct them buildings for him
as a strategy. It's not a good strategy.
And then they say, well, he's smart because he went bankruptcy on them folk who built his building on Concrete Quarry, who went up there on that building and risked his life, right? And two of his men probably done went down, twisted their ankle, and ruined their career. They ain't gonna get no workman comp because Trump don't pay his bill. See, why we don't talk about that? Why we don't talk? He a businessman. See, he the smart businessman, but he keep failing. He the only nigga who had a casino, and the casino failed. Now come on, the house wins. Everybody know that's the rule. The house make the money. He the only nigga that goes down and lose. The house lose with Donald Trump. Now he gonna take over our house. Now y'all gonna give him our house, right?
Is it too late to vote for Corey?
We already gave him.
Now he gonna lose. Now he gonna lose our house. That like he done already left. He done already put your grandkids in debt. Don't forget about the $2 trillion tax cut that he trying to make legal, permanent here for the rest of time. He wants the billionaires to become quadrillionaires.
But Corey, let me finish, please. Let me finish.
Nah, go ahead.
Not off real value, because even Jeff Bezos, Amazon.
No, stay with Elon Musk.
Let me stay with Elon.
Because I wanted to say something to that. I want to say something to what you said.
Let me say something. Elon is shitting in his pants. So Elon is defecating now because the Chinese company, especially what's the name, the one that made the U8 and U9, the SUV and the sports car, the Chinese now is making a better product than Tesla. Tesla is not selling in China as it did 5 years ago because the Chinese EVs are better than Tesla. Tesla quality control is shitty. Most people who have a Tesla will tell you that some part of it's shitty. His QC is shitty, but he was getting away on it because his IP in terms of his software was good, and his battery was better. But the battery company in China now that's making electric cars are making a far better product that the Australians want, that the European want, and Trump is trying to lock the doors and not let those cars enter the US. That's why he ran to Trump, because his product is shitty and the sales are dropping in China. Right? People might talk about SpaceX. SpaceX is subsidized by the United States government. They give him all the contracts for what NASA normally do. They talk about his internet satellite. That has not made a profit. His satellite internet has not made a profit. The only thing that has made a profit is SpaceX, because billions, $25, $30 billion contract is given to SpaceX. And if you look at the history of how he got SpaceX, it wasn't because of any skill that he has, because those rockets were not really produced by him. But it is what it is. But he's propped up as being the smartest and the brightest, but he's not as smart as or as bright as he is. He was given an advantage. His friend became the head of NASA, and he got all of those contracts. His company is not real wealthy as people think it is. If it wasn't for the United States government giving him all those NASA contracts, he'd be out, because Tesla is valued more than Toyota. Tesla is valued more than Toyota, and Tesla has never sold the amount of cars Toyota sold in a year. That's why we know that it's overvalued.
Elon.
Go ahead, I am.
Elon's response to you. What's my friend's name with the accent?
Stew Peas.
Stew Peas.
Yes.
I like that. That's cute. SpaceX gets no subsidies and received half as much as Boeing for astronaut transport, but did, excuse me, I can't talk. Astronaut transport, but did 100% of the work. As for Tesla, per our public filings, you will see that electric vehicle incentives are subsidized, but they represent a minor part of our revenue. On the other hand, oil and gas companies get massive tax breaks that exceed those given to the EV industry by several orders of magnitude. Just to be balanced today.
But also, what may not show up in subsidies and that type of information is the technology that he gets from NASA. That's not all original technology, which NASA's technology a lot of times is, in any government technology, comes from tax dollars, or tax dollars paying contract companies. Back to what Corey was saying, it's a lot of that still comes back to tax dollars. You pay people for innovation, you pay people for their process. The government isn't supposed to produce products and items and systems like that. That's not their job. But companies go to them to get contracts and subsidies if it's for the public good or it can help move things along. But a lot of that technology is NASA's technology. So, and I want to share a webpage for anyone who's interested in subsidies. Let me get my window back open. It's called Subsidy Tracker, where you can look at a company. You can go by state. Hold on, let's just go back one. Let me make sure. So you can go, I'll just put Tesla. You can go by the state if you're interested in the subsidies in your states, in your state, the type of subsidy, cost reimbursement, grants, loans, tax abatements, credits, things like that. So I just put in Tesla in general, and you can see the subsidies by parent company, location, source, the year, the value, and the type.
That could be a really fun show.
This looks like a big old number. I'm not even going to try to say that. That looks like 400 million, Brad.
Wow.
No, what is that? Like 1.2 billion. And let's see if you click on it, how much more information you get. There you go. So,
Let's talk about his NASA contracts. How many contracts did he get from NASA? He got, that's what holding up SpaceX, the NASA contracts and the American subsidy. The other day he was in problem and we needed.
NASA has awarded SpaceX an
More than $25 billion.
$843 million contract.
Right, but over time, he has gotten more than $25 billion from NASA. Most of
so
the money
what's
from
the question? Who funds NASA?
This
If you
year.
Google that, I'm sure you won't be surprised, right?
Who funds NASA? The United States government.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Like that's back.
Tesla is a food stamp company. It's surviving off American taxpayer food stamp. But nobody wants to hear that. Jimmy Buffett, that's his name, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates undervalue Tesla. They don't recommend Tesla to ordinary people.
Buffett never liked Tesla, ever.
Yeah, Buffett and
Bill Gates might want to watch himself. You know how he got his money. You know he did a lot of monopolizing. Yeah,
monopolizing.
Too, so, yeah.
But he's out of the game now. Really, he's not really so much in the game as Tesla, right?
Buffett. I'm sorry.
No, right now Bill Gates is in the philanthropy field, exerting his influence. You know, I think people saw that during the pandemic. His influence in philanthropy and medical, the medical field and vaccines and things of that nature. So to me, that's the new lobbyist is philanthropy.
Yes.
So,
why all of these billionaires went into land? All of these billionaires went into massive land buyout because they realize that wealth is finite and you have intrinsic wealth value and speculative value, where people say my IP is worth XYZ because Bill Gates' IP with Microsoft made him billions of dollars. So everybody's now saying that, listen, you don't actually need anything physical. You need IPs because those are where the billionaire came from, the tech giants of the last 10 years, came from ideas and software, not from actual production of goods and services. It's selling ideas, TikTok, Twitter. You bought Twitter for 20 or 30 billion. And Twitter has no value like that. Twitter don't create that level of advertisement.
Wow, this is looking very red.
Yeah, it looks very red. But it's still early. It's still early. And it's still early, and the Democratic states aren't counted as yet.
How long do we have?
Not going to finish until about 3 o'clock.
Like 11 o'clock.
11, got it.
That may be on. I don't know if that's
because California, Washington State, everybody on the West Coast, the vote just start getting counted now. So did Trump? No, what we expect to happen is happening. The only two pink you have now is Philadelphia and Georgia, the two pink. That
so he got Georgia.
Going on to the world. He doesn't have Georgia. They don't finish counting.
Okay.
They don't finish counting. And if you look at the states that he's expected to win.
I mean, at this point, I feel like we're kind of bouncing around on so many different subjects. We're not really kind of like hashing out the topic before we move on to a next one. I don't want to sit up here and be like I'm trying to control the conversation. It's not just me talking, but we started somewhere totally different, and now we're
in stocks and bonds and capitalism.
Tesla being funded by
NASA.
Yeah, by NASA.
By the United States government.
Yeah, the I could have sworn we were attempting to have to gauge the conversation as far as this unified concept of the black vote, and I really like the idea of hashing out how do we start leveraging our vote to getting to putting some demands to it, right? Capitalism is going to be capitalism whether we like it or not. We were born into a capitalist society, And that's not free speech. So how do we obtain the necessary skills and be frank about it, just leverage in order to help us navigate capitalism in America? And I think those are the conversations that make a lot of sense, because I think the complaint box is full. You ask me, right? You can be upset about a lot of these things, and we could sit here and talk about how things ought to be all we want to. That's just not what it is. And to be honest with you, that's not what I don't think that people who are being successful are necessarily doing that. They are figuring out what it takes to actually succeed, and they are implementing that. They're not saying, oh, well, we need to have this new top down reform all the way from the very top. You know what I'm saying? We need to start there and reform that, so things can happen in a way that seems more fair to me. Like to me, I think that's a waste of time. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a straight up
that's assuming people didn't try that already. That's assuming that people don't know, don't understand. I think me and Brad's had this conversation. Don't understand civics, don't understand finance, don't understand wealth, don't understand employment, any of that. That's assuming people don't know that and they've been doing stuff wrong. And that's not true. And that the people who have gained did it the right way. They did it the legal way. They did it without influence or help. That's a tie into what Stu Pease and what Corey is saying. And what me and Brass was talking about. Say the general populace doesn't understand civics and how politics or finance really work. Well, then who does? And are they doing the right thing with it? The small groups, the wealthy, the lobbyists, the people in the know?
Right.
So if they understand how it works and the majority don't, which I don't believe that's the case. And I know because information is readily available now that everyone consumes it, that's not necessary. It's and again, people have tried. People have tried entrepreneurship, policy changes. People have gotten killed, lynched, murdered, threatened, voted out of office, disappeared. Their wealth taken from them. That's assuming these people don't understand. And I think they understand more than most. I think African Americans, and I'm not talking about maybe my group of friends or your group of friends, but in general, throughout the decades, we understand how the system works. And it's obvious that a lot of times it doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for poor people. It doesn't work for handicapped people or people who have physical ailments. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you're in the country. Go ahead.
I think we do have the opportunity to thrive in this capitalist setting. Would you agree?
Yes. What's the problem then? What's holding us back? To me, that would be my question.
My thought is that the knowledge gap, right? Like you said, the set of people like you, your friends, Logic, everyone, here tonight, and the average member of our community might not have access to the kind of information that we're discussing, right? And that if there's no connection between the people that have that information, that have that knowledge, that are have that mentality, if there's no connection between them and the average person or in our community, then that disconnect, in my opinion, is what is holding us back.
Yeah, I think so too, right? And I think we tend to. Now, not saying that you can't ignore it now, not saying that, because I'm saying two different things, but that knowledge gap from, it seems really minute, but I think it makes really, really big differences. We heard Corey making the analogy about Jimbo and how his efforts go unrewarded in capitalism. And if you really listen to that story, it really has no color, right? And you said a couple minutes ago, hits. I mean, where it may happen more to black people than it does to white people. The white people aren't immune to those ills that they have to deal with as poor people. Also, they might even have a different way of navigating out of it, but they're certainly not excluded from the reality of them having to struggle their way through capitalism also. And so that's where, for me, right, that's where I guess put more emphasis, not necessarily all the emphasis. I know it doesn't tell all the entire story, but I think that we are just we highly represent that low income group of people in America, and those low income group of people are usually the ones least heard when it comes to politics, the ones least advocated for, and they don't have any leverage to push around when it comes to these politicians. They're not the ones that are making the big donations, so their needs go on the complete back burner. That's not who or what is really getting people in office. So they don't need to necessarily satisfy anything that they're asking for. You know what I'm saying? So they're very poorly represented based on how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Now, what we can do about that, I'm not too sure, right? But I think that that's a great place to start the conversation. How can we raise the floor of America rather than, I mean, of course I want to raise the floor of the black community, right? But I mean, to be honest with you, we represent a large part of that low income, I guess, demographic in America. I think that's where the conversation, for me, really starts. How do you get more programs for those people? How do you get more benefits for those people? Whether it's Democrats, which is, a little bit more socialist and are more likely to make, stuff like that happen, rather than big corporations, just increasing their wages and making programs for those lower income people. So I mean, I get it, but to me, that's where I would put my focus. Like, that would be how I would go about trying to solve that puzzle. So
I think a great microcosm to study would be, especially in our country, and we have, some proximity to, learn from, is the unions, right? How do these workers, these thousands of workers, go against these big corporations? How do they leverage their talent, their time, their skill to make demands and get them met? I happen to be in Illinois. We were blue on the little map, just so everybody knows. and we're a very heavy union state. The state I come from isn't a heavy union state. And then I lived in Texas, which is not a union situation at all. And so, coming here was like so interesting to learn that level of organization, that level of solidarity, and resolve, right? I mean, here, like teachers. Oh my God, I can talk about so many people. So I think that'll be a good microcosm to study, because you're talking about, like, the average person doesn't earn a lot, doesn't have a lot of dollars to donate to campaigns to kind of make people want to do favors for them. I think that's a good one to follow.
I'll give you an example of something that Corey was, I guess, leading to, or something that he would understand. Corporations, I I I, I worked in a few different professions: pharmaceuticals, uh, food and beverage, and retail. And in each one of them, over the last 30 years, I've seen them go from pension plans to 401ks without any choice. That's not done to help the worker. That's done in short term. And even if they match your um deduction, right? Even if they match what you put in, their long term goal is so you don't have a pension and they don't have to pay you over an extended period of time. Now, is that based on people living longer? That may have been, but that has been the trend over at least the last 30 years since I've been employed, right? Is corporations go from 401ks to pensions. African Americans not having access to it, you need more than information, right? You need finances.
Absolutely.
You need education.
Yeah.
There are plans, there's dollars, and it's certain individuals' job to make sure you have that. This is not whoever's arm is the longest gets to reach the furthest. No, and you vote people in the office. There are laws to protect people that work, and those same laws don't get enforced depending on who's in court across all of the fields. And that's what I'm saying. It's if it's not a if you have one thing against you, maybe you can have one or two fixes. If you have 10 things against you, you're going to need more than 10 fixes. If finances are against you, because as soon as you and your demographic rise to a certain level, whether you agree that y'all are in the same group or not, you're in certain demographics where you live, your income level, your nationality, your education level, you are in a demographic. You are treated in a demographic. If that demographic moves to a certain level, like Corey said, the people who make all of the money, the real money, change the rules, move the goalposts. Doesn't work. If everyone had a house, how are you going to value it? If everyone had a dollar for dollar match on 401k, how are the investors going to make their money? How are the CEOs? They won't be billionaires anymore. So that word equalizing the playing field, utilizing certain programs, they only work to a degree that they're allowed to work before the goalpost gets moved. We see that. So what do? We got the education information. Everyone has one of these. It's the world in your hand. Most people, social media all day. Anything you want to ask it right here in your hand. Holding, and I think I am mentioned this on one of our previous episodes. We have to dictate to the people we vote for what we want and hold them to it. That's the easiest, not the easiest, but that's a more direct way, is to change policy. Opinions are one thing. A policy is a lot more difficult to just go, no, I don't like that. We're not going to give you money. We're not going to have, this type of benefit for middle and low income people. Policy. That's number one. I think we have the tools. Education. That's up to them. You can't force people to educate themselves. You can't. It's just,
you can trick them by entertaining them. This is what I'm learning. We have to trick them.
No, I get, but then to me, like, how is that? How would that be helpful to trick somebody? Because say once they figure out the trick, oh man, you tricked me into buying a house.
And now you own an asset.
You tricked me into saving some money, man. You tricked, So it's that sustainable? But I think, like you said, like I said in one of our previous episodes, policy, because these are people we do or do not have to vote for, and they do owe you something. They owe you to the best of their ability to give you what they promised you, and that's one thing I don't think we do. We don't hold our elected officials to hold their feet to the fire, and we don't understand our local politics, which would be immediately beneficial.
Yeah, that's where we have the most power too.
Mm-hmm.
We have the most power on the local level where there's no electorate.
EQ, what up? I'm gonna put the link in the chat. See if anybody wanna.
Right, and to that point, right? Like, it's almost like we've become so proactive, like that we wait to the presidential election. The one that we have the least leverage in, that impacts our immediate environment the least, to get all excited about it. And then, when it comes down to our local elections, You know, I'm for whatever reason the excitement isn't the same, and we don't participate in it in that same type of way, right? So if we're really, you know, taking any of that stuff really serious, you know, it should definitely start there, right? And for me, I definitely have a love for the black people and the black community. I don't see myself as an activist. I'm not actively trying to change the world. You know, I want the best life I can for myself, my immediate family, you know, those close to me, and hopefully along the way I can meet some people who have some similar ideas, and maybe we can collaborate, put those ideas together, and make some things happen. And I think that's realistic. That's like a realistic goal, but for me to attempt to make it to where I'm gonna go find as many people who disagree with me and change all of their minds, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, I'm starting to, I'm doing a lot of spinning of my own wheels. When I can be getting more stuff done for myself at that point. So I don't blame anybody who lives their life on the other side of that spectrum, and they want to galvanize the black community into this one unanimous thought process. That's not necessarily the way I see it being realistically unfolding.
I don't think it's realistic either, and I don't think it's necessary for us to get to some goals, right? One thing I've learned, I live in Chicago, and Chicago has taught me about activism. And shout out to 79th and Cottage Grove. I got to get it's the hood. Okay. I'll have this lesson for the rest of my life. But some people got together and they said, there's a lot of violence and crazy stuff that happens on this particular corner, right? What can we do? The people got together and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. It was a very simple plan. We're going to go out there with food and music. So simple, so simple. And so we fed the people. We went out every Friday night, all summer. It was peaceful, chill. We connected. We grew as a community. I mean, we grew in our bond, right? Because we were talking to each other. We were out there. And um, what I took away from that, and what I think will be helpful, what I would like to offer to you, Logic, is that we didn't have to agree on anything other than the fact that we wanted to feed people, right? So there were Muslim people out there, there were, very radical, Black power people out there. There were like Christian ladies out there. Like we were all out there. There were so many of us, and we did not have to sit down and come up with anything other than an objective and how to execute it.
Right.
And that really taught me, it was a very powerful lesson in organizing. It can be simple, it can be quick. It doesn't have to take months or even weeks, right? Who's going to bring this? Who's going to bring that? Okay, 7:00. Okay, boom. See you then. And there's a gentleman out here. His name is Brother Brandon. Shout out to Brother Brandon. But he would always say, he's a big personality. Kind of I think you guys would love him. But he would say, I only do 2 meetings, sis. 2 meetings and I'm out. If we can't get it together in 2 meetings, like that was his limit. That was
I know people like that.
Right. So like we go in, we decide what we're going to do, not what we believe, not what we think, not what we hope for, not who we are, not identity, because it's not a monolith. We're going to decide on an objective, something we are going to do, and we're going to execute. And so I just wanted to offer that.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. We could.
And you younger people, don't take us older people. I'm technically a senior this year, 55, right?
What?
He's taking me an IHOP.
Y'all ain't getting on my discount. I'm not doing it. No, y'all gonna have to earn that 10%. No, it's a lot of it has to do with too letting people know what they're up against, and that's not to scare people, to deter people. That has to be a part of the conversation. And sometimes that gets taken as, oh, that's just negative Nancy stuff. Always No, that's the bad side of it. You have to let people know what they're up against, because you may be fighting a fight that's unnecessary. You may take the long way around something that's not necessary. If you don't know what you're up against, right now we're in a technological era. We're in a data gathering era. So understanding that alone,
Yes.
it will help you understand why things move a certain way. Oh, that's based on a certain amount of data. And you're just not shooting in the dark. So that's equally important. You have to know what you're up against, and it may change by state, obviously, right? You look at the map. What's going on in Colorado or Nebraska may not be going on in New York or New Jersey. So that's that local politics, that local data and information. Government sites collect a lot of information. People tell you, "Oh, stay away from the government, the man, this, that." That's a lot of information is there. Knowing where to get the information, and then you can be more strategic, I think, in your attacks. So we getting there.
I have to shout out the hundreds. Shout out to the Wild Wild.
Oh, we got hundreds here. Hold on, let me.
Much love.
Yeah, I think my brother grew up on. I think it's 105th and Union. I think that's
East Side.
Yep.
Where's our pundit at? Brass. Where did he go?
Brass DQ.
Brass DQ. Everybody left. Corey.
No, Corey. That's actually Corey's screen that we're watching. So Corey's actually there. I'm not sure what happened to Brass. I hope
that's
he's
Corey's
okay.
Contribution.
I hope he's all right out there.
I don't know. Maybe they're looking at the screen.
I know.
Sosa said he getting anxiety, so he can't look at it.
There's a lot of red on there, man. I wasn't expecting it to be that much red. I was expecting it to be a lot closer, at least around this time. But we early in the game, and he right around the corner from getting
No,
elected.
I think a lot of that red is supposed to be.
It's projections. You think so?
No, it's supposed to be. Like the center of the country is always red.
Okay.
And you got a lot of states where it's too close to call, too early to call. What map am I on? MSNBC? If you go, what map?
Is Florida in?
ABC or something like that. I don't know.
Where you at, Corey?
I think I was on ABC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they get up. They got a lot to go.
Yeah,
they got a lot to go. Go ahead, Joe.
Whoever win, even I think if Donald Trump win, I think America gets what it deserves, right? Whether they get Kamala or Trump, that's what America deserves. You know what I mean? So that's just my little take on the whole thing.
No, I don't like Trump at all as a candidate. I'm not one of the people that's looks at it as like the end of democracy if he gets elected. But I'm not is super thrilled about what he offers the average person. He's basically represents a lot of that trickle down effects as far as the economy. And I think a lot of people have like a lot of misconceptions about his last time in office as far as the stuff that he did economic wise. I hear, when I hear experts and other like news stations break down what he did for the economy when he was in office, there's a lot of misconceptions around that, so.
I have a question for you, Logic.
What's up?
Do you think if you were in a different socioeconomic position that you would feel differently about these two candidates specifically?
Of course, because I think that they deal with separate issues, completely. Like Kamala, I feel like at least she has attempted to make it known that her leanings is going to be towards helping middle income earners to lower income earners, whereas Donald Trump is more addressing higher income earners, big corporations, and in turn he expects that to affect the middle income and lower income earners, right? So yeah, absolutely, but that's like, but that's like Republican and Democrat to its core right there. So, but yeah, if I had a big corporation, it'd be a lot easier for me to support some of the stuff that Donald Trump is saying, but I don't.
Thanks for taking a stand.
What about you?
DQ, what up, man?
What up? What was the question?
What's this red hoodie, DQ? Are you trying to send a message tonight?
No, ma'am. This is called Supplier. This is one of my friends. It's his own little brand. So I'm just supporting this hoodie. But no, it got cold down here in Texas finally, so I just pulled the hoodie out. But no, it's nothing subliminal. Me, it's crazy.
That ain't a Make America Great Again hoodie, is it? That was
everybody. That's what everybody's gonna think. I want to just play with people's minds on the internet, troll them a little bit. But nah, that's not it, Queen.
Nah. Hey, but I think it's a component that people ain't really looking at, right? As far as Trump getting in office, it's that evangelical component. Those right-wing evangelicals, which is a minority, right? And
it's a powerful minority.
that minority has, I was gonna say, has so much power, right? That comes with Donald Trump's vote too, and they organize. We might look at Donald Trump. See, this is why that's the component that I look at. Like, we might look at Donald Trump as some guy who, talks loud, and he may or may not mean some of the things he say, right? But his supporters, his organization, the Republican Party, the donors, the PACs, and all of that, right? These people are very smart and very organized, and they have goals, and they're the clear goals, and they aren't. There's no mistake to be made. So, and they've been working on these goals for years. For years, they've been putting in place, like, all of the Supreme Court justices, Brett Kavanaugh. These are very strategically placed people in this evangelical right-wing Christian nationalist organization. You know what I mean? So that part comes with Donald Trump. I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
No, I think you spot on with that. That's probably the worst part of that whole package, is that you can't separate, some of the things that could possibly be good about it. Now, me personally, in my lifetime, I've never seen those huge tax cuts for those rich people and corporations benefit other people besides them. They seem that when they get that, they hold on to it, and they don't, like, it doesn't seem to spread out that way. So I'm always going to kind of lean towards, I want the higher taxes and the more programs coming from the government. That's going to be, always in the direction I'm leaning in. But you can't separate those right-wing extremists from even the good ideas that the Republicans have, and that's probably like the big issue. You know what I'm saying? That's what you was talking about, right, Corey?
Yeah.
Because that's the real Jimbo and Seabass in there. You know what I'm saying? They come out the woodshed, and they do.
No. I'm not talking about, like, that's not who I'm talking about. Jimbo and Seabass. Jimbo and Seabass them ain't never been our problem, right? Jimbo and Seabass, they may have some slight advantage over just being white is good enough for them, maybe.
Mhm.
But what I'm talking about is these people got money. Now Jimbo live in a trailer park. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? I'm talking about the evangelical Christians that's a movement. That's an organization. These people, let me think of the name, man. I gotta pull some of this stuff up.
No, I get what you're saying,
off
right?
the head.
I what you're saying.
I want to know how you can have the evangelicals and say that you're pro-Israel all in the same sentence. Sosa, where you at? I need somebody to speak to the Christian point of view on Israel and the Jewish.
That's the whole plot. You don't know about the end times and all that.
But those are opposing views because according to the Jews, hold on, according to the Jews, he's not the Messiah. The Christians wait on the second coming.
It's all about the Christians, the ones in control, so they the ones who. Yeah, it's
they waiting on number 2. They waiting on the second coming. The Jews still waiting on the first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
for the second coming, the Jews got to all be in one place. They got to all go back to the promised
that's
land.
why the Christians want them there. Yeah, stay
Yeah,
there.
that's why they working for them. That's why they working there. Y'all go ahead.
Hey, but wouldn't that fit into the conversation of when we look at those different groups, those Christian nationalists, that Southern Baptist, that the strength of moving in groups, of voting in you're voting for the group. You're willing to sacrifice your certain individual things for the goal of the group, and how powerful, and that's a very powerful base. You know what I'm saying? Like
they voting on the afterlife, huh?
Right. So if African Americans is the base of Democratic Party, that Southern Baptist Christian nationalists, that's the base of the Republican Party. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they vote as a group. You feel me? So we was talking about that earlier in Discord. Like
and it ain't, and see, Donald Trump don't represent Christian values or nothing like that, right? But the thing is, they willing to take that bullet because he's gonna do the bidding. You see what I'm saying?
Corey, he is a good, outstanding Christian.
He does not give Christian. He does not even a little bit of Christian.
Hold on, he in his backslidden years. That's all.
Yeah, he in his what's my man name? He in his Paul. He in his Paul
grabbing
years.
people's private parts. No, he does not give Jesus.
She just does not give Jesus.
No, not even close to it, which is so wild to me. But it's like the gentleman said, you know, they know what he's going to do for them.
Yeah,
because that's
policy. Yeah,
you know,
they know what they actually know what he's already done for them.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that those people. I don't believe that those people got some. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think that those people, because they're voting red and because they like Trump, I don't think it has as much to do with what he's going to do for them as much as it's like this perceived reality. I don't think if you go up to the average one of those people and ask them, you know, what is Donald Trump's plan on taxes, that they can really answer it. What does that he plans to go into office and change? How does it affect you? I don't think they can really answer that, and that's like
no. He talking about evangelicals. He ain't talking
that's
about
because the individual don't know.
Yeah,
they just voting for the group. They doing what
for
the
some
group
of them, it's maintaining the status quo. It's just having a white man in the position of power, just maintaining that. Period.
Yes, and
by any means.
So,
yeah, and that's drastic
I'm
change.
trying to think about. I'm trying to think of the names of these.
Like, we not like they might look at that as a rippers tearing out the fiber of what makes America. Like, you finna put a black woman, like, what are we doing here?
They went straight to the book of Revelation. Yeah, they went right to the end of the book. It's over.
They talk about our America. Yes, that's how they word it.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but
I think also I want to offer something else to Logic when it comes to ownership. One thing we haven't talked about when it comes to political efficacy. And that is the more you own in your community, the more you control in your community.
Absolutely.
And by county, you can even look this up. In each county, it'll tell you, it'll list all of the landowners, and it will tell you the dollar amount and the percentage of total tax revenue that specific property owner brings into that county or into that township or into that village. That is a tremendous amount of power. The property owners at the top of that list can walk into those meetings, city council, whoever it is, alderman, whoever it is, and get their needs addressed. And so I think that's another part of the political system that we can exploit and use to our advantage as well.
Yeah, I agree. I actually
tell us about your channel real quick. I am just so people understand how that leads into what you actually do. If you could give us a brief description.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hit. My channel is Ownaspot Live, hashtag Ownaspot. I'm a realtor in Chicago, and I help tons of people purchase and sell property, and none of them are from my community. Okay. So I started my channel because I noticed when I got into the business that we're not purchasing property. We're not owning property. And it's so easy. Listen to me. It's not hard at all. So I started my channel to let people know that it's not hard, that they can do it. My channel is there to help. Most people are purchasing it, their first generation purchasers, so they don't even have friends or family that can assist them or guide them or even give them, layperson's advice when it comes to making this purchase. And so because I am licensed, I do have the technical knowledge, I have the experience, and I have a lot of shortcuts. I have a lot of resources people don't know about. Down payment assistance. Why did you ask me to talk about this, Hits? I'm not going to stop.
It's what you do. No, it's information. People need to know. They need to know.
Yeah, down payment assistance is available in all 50 states. And the number one thing I want people to take away is that most people think they cannot qualify, and they can. And to me, that is an injustice where people are in their homes, wherever they are, thinking, I can't do this. This is not something that is within reach for me in 2024, 2025. And they're wrong. And they're wrong. So I love to tell them how they're wrong, show them how they're wrong, and help them get to it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I put the link to your channel in
Fire.
the chat. Everybody go over, follow. And if y'all in the chat or if you stop through later on, do us a favor here at TriMedia. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon. Thanks to our guests who stopped through, those in the chat. So we just had to get that business out the way, let people know why you're here and your contribution. So
thank you. And our ancestors worked this land themselves for years without pay. And
so
it will make them so we owe it to them. And I also want to say this one last thing, Mr. Hits. Thank you for obliging. Dr. King's legacy, the legacy of his unaliving, the fact that he was violently taken, is the reason that we have FHA. That vote from Congress happened because the entire country was on fire because they found out that he had been fired upon with a fire weapon. And the reason that people can purchase with 3.5% down is because of that. And so while we talk about the marches and voting, I also want to put that into perspective as well. Tremendous sacrifices have happened so that we can have the opportunity to own property in this country.
All right, that's Logic, what you got?
I promise, that's it.
Nah, jump in as things come to your mind.
Yeah, that's the important stuff right there. Like that's the part of the conversation is where that I like to really build on, because at least it's at the very least, I know where the foundation is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not shooting from the hip. We can see exactly what happened. We can see, we can even look at the data of stuff that happens after it. You know what I'm saying? So like to me, it's a real world example of how we can kind of build off of. It's not, this could happen, and I hope this don't happen, and like that. I don't like to kind of go too far down that rabbit hole because it begins to become based less and less on reality. But no, those are some really good important points, and hopefully, whoever gets elected, we can find ways to put our interests together and benefit from it. Whatever policies moving forward the Senate is willing to pass and all that kind of stuff. How we, just figuring out how we can actually figure out how to make that work for us is, I think that's what it's really all about. Just staying informed on the right information. That's all I really got. I don't have too much.
If y'all want to go to a quick commercial, and then we'll come back, give everybody a chance to regroup. We'll come back. We'll put the map up, see what's going on. I think the last polls close at 11. That might be West Coast, right? 11 o'clock.
No, that's definitely West Coast, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I say the race always looks like this early.
Yeah.
It's always mostly red
you
early.
Get the East Coast, and you get that whole red central of, of the United States, and then you get them few blue states on the end. So, all right. So we'll do a quick commercial, and then we'll come back, and we'll put the map up and see where we at. Anybody got to add anything to that before we go out? No? All right. See you in a few. right, welcome back. Welcome back. Corey, what you got as far as the map? If you got that on one of your screens. Welcome back to this election night podcast with our special guest.
Whoa.
I am from Ownaspot. Boy, you people get way too anxious.
Wow.
So early. I don't know if they picked up. I know they picked up one. Oh, they got +3. Yeah, they got +3 there now. So
wow.
They will have the majority in the House, looks like. They picked up 3 seats. I believe all they needed was 2. Now
you know what's interesting? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You know what's interesting too about this election is with the COVID period, which happened within the last like 4 years or so, so many people have moved state to state, right? So you have people from New York moving down to Florida, people from LA moving to Nevada. You know, people have been moving around. And so I thought this is really I believe this is our first election since we've seen like those kinds of, because people were working from home. So many people moved out of state because they didn't have to physically be in their state for their jobs. And so I'm so interested to find out what happens with this election, given all of that movement and how it might change or restructure the reds, the blues, the purples.
And there was a
that's somebody to
gerrymandering
consider.
thing going on too, like in a lot of places. So people moving, you get different demographics, income backgrounds. I don't think that changed in the South a lot. I don't think it changed enough. It looks like in the Southeast, like they're still super red.
Do you think if a blue person moves to a red state that they'll turn red?
No, no. I think
If they move to Indiana,
no.
they vote they won't count no more.
It doesn't even matter.
It wouldn't even matter,
There's a book by I think Charles Blow. It's called The Devil You Know.
Mm.
And that book is based on the premise: if a certain amount of African Americans move to the Southeast, they literally can control that part of the country and a large enough electoral count to make a major difference just with the population that we have now. But that would, let me pull the book up. Y'all go ahead. Let me just pull it up to make sure I got it right. But that's based on a strategic move to the Southeast, where a lot of, I think that's the heaviest population of African Americans anyway. So we would just be adding to that pool and become the majority. But
I love that. And logic isn't here, but I think that's these are not super radical concepts, right? So we could that is a very interesting strategy to concentrate ourselves in certain geographical areas to increase our voting power, our economic power. I actually wish logic was here.
Hold on, I'll share the screen just so you can.
I'm here. I heard what you said.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called The Devil You Know by Charles Blow. I believe he's a writer for like the New York Times or something like that too. Oh, yep. I'm sorry, New York Times editor.
I'm so sorry.
And it's basically just trying to find this section. Thinking about race and geography, drawing on both political observations, set out a call to action by which Black people can finally achieve equality on their own terms. They don't have, but that's what the book is based on. Moving, trying to consolidate a majority, even though we are the minority or one of the minorities, we can be the majority in the South. For turning right here, the point here is not to impose a new racial hierarchy, but to remove an existing one. After centuries of waiting for white majorities to overturn white supremacy, it seems to me that it has fallen to Black people to do it themselves. Succinct, counterintuitive, and passive corrective to the myth. I'm trying to find out where it's at right here.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
that's what he calls on.
So my first thing with that, right, is like it kind of depends on what your how would you describe success or winning? You know what I'm saying? I think the exact quote was, go back up to it. I want to read it again. I want to make sure I'm commenting on exactly what it says. It says this is not but to remove an existing one, right? The point here is not to impose a new racial hierarchy, but to remove an existing one.
I think that verbiage might have been important at the time. When did he write the book, Mr. Hicks?
It's recent, and I think that's on a national level he's talking about.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have the numbers to overturn the demographics in that matter. The push is to trying to read it right down here. Migration to the southeast. I gotta find it. These are but it's political. It's about policy. It's about majority. It's a strategy. It's just a strategy.
And I wouldn't be surprised if, as a Black writer, he was shy about using the words overturn, overtake, become the ruling majority dominant group. Those are scary words sometimes.
You know what? You know what? I used to. I don't think that that's scary. I wouldn't use the word scary, but I would be cautious if that's what I consider winning. I would be cautious to not. I mean, I'm not even sure cautious is the right word, but it sounds like that's not really achievable as the minority, right? So, like, am I fighting for something that the minority of people don't really even have the power to ever really get to, right? We already we are already the working class. We're already low income, and we're outnumbered by people who make more money than us, for the most part. So, like, if that's what I'm trying to get to, it kind of sounds. I'm not,
No. It's
immediately
mainly. I think you're using the wrong term. It's about consolidation of what you do have. If there's already a majority of African Americans in the Southeast, his premise is, with a strategic movement of more African Americans to the Southeast, say those 8 or 9, 10 states, you would have more power, more say-so, more control. You can have more local policies benefit you. And I'm sure no one will argue the Southeast of this country is probably the worst part for African Americans, easily. Easily throughout the decades.
Absolutely.
He's not wrong in logistics. He's not wrong, definitely in logistics.
Yeah, and that's basically what it's about. Not everyone move, but if a certain amount move, you could be the majority voting block in these states and give you more power, say, in the Senate and Congress and things of that. So,
and even on a micro level, right? If you and 3 of your friends, you guys are like, we're going to purchase our first property next year, right? Why not consolidate to an area and approach the alderman as a group? This is what we want to see. Or, partner with, business owners, bring businesses to that community. Like, it could also be implemented on a local level to increase local power too.
Now that part makes sense, right? When you talk about dominating small pockets.
Yeah, like your grandma's house
that
right here, my
makes
grandma's
sense.
house right here. Like,
that sounds realistic. You can dominate small pockets.
Right. Own a spot, own a block, own a plot.
Yeah, this is what I was looking for, the thesis or the argument or whatever, right? He argues that Black Americans should move back to the South to achieve political power and create Black majorities in multiple states.
Yes.
Southern racism is preferable to Northern racism, and that Black Americans can affect social change by starting in those states.
Ooh, that's a show. Southern racism versus Northern racism.
All right, it's preferable. That's a hell of a word choice. But yeah, I can definitely see dominating small pockets. That actually makes a lot of sense.
That's just the first step. Once you dominate, it's like I remember when like a lot of these cities, they weren't attractive for African Americans at first. But once those small pockets developed, it became a hub, and then it started drawing. Like, you start hearing Black people say, "Hey, yo, man, I heard Arizona's they doing good up there in Arizona's good." You start hearing Black people talk like this, and then they started to facilitate getting out there. When they started hearing about Atlanta, from Freaknik started advertising, "Oh, Atlanta's hot spot," and it started attracting more Black people to the area. So with that, and so over time, it's not like that he's saying, "Hey, yo, everybody, tomorrow we finna pack up and get," Nah.
We could though. There are groups of us who could.
Yeah, of course, some, but I think he's not talking like everybody. It's a thought process, a mind process, and over time, Just like how we over time migrated to the north and west, the same thing can be done in the south and give up power. That's all they're saying.
Now here's the part about the preferable racism.
Oh wow.
It's I forgot where it's at in the book, but it says he contrasts the two black experiences: those who stayed in the South and those who migrated north. The South has potential for political transformation, as evidenced by recent success. I think a part of his thought process is that black people, your roots are in the South. All of a majority of your knowledge, not your necessarily your comfort, is in the South, and we are the majority there. So you would be moving into groups of your own people. You would be moving into something that's more comfortable overall for black people, not necessarily the racism, but proximity to your own people. But yeah, basically it's like a reverse migration.
Yeah.
And there may be even numbers in the book where he has a specific number that would change certain states.
Yes.
Which is also helpful. Not like, because obviously some people aren't going to go, but it'd be helpful. Oh, only 2 million people move back, or 1.5.
Yeah,
Me and Brass might be like, yeah, we ain't doing. We staying in New York, stay in New York and New Jersey. But like you said, with property, if you can move in a group.
Yeah, I grew up in a community that was all black. The businesses were owned by black people. The black people owned all their homes. And the specific area in Los Angeles where I'm from, there was oil under the ground. So they also owned mineral rights. And there was there's actually like an oil, like, I don't know what you call it, thing in the middle of the neighborhood. And so, but then I didn't realize until I got older that that's atypical when it comes to black communities. And so I went to a high school in a different neighborhood, and that's when I learned that that the overall black experience was something very different than how I grew up.
All right.
And that most of us endured very different circumstances.
Yeah. I feel that. Like I said, I came from Charleston, South Carolina, and moved from Charleston to Atlanta, and it felt like I had left a slave plantation.
Really?
Literally, shock. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even, you know what I mean? Black folks with money, and like what? Like I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. You feel me? I started calling back home. Hey, yo, y'all need to get out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I never went back. You feel me? Like, yeah. So yeah.
I had the reverse, and then I went to high school in the hood. And I remember one time my parents had them change the bus route to bring me home, but I was the only kid that lived in that neighborhood because the high school was in the hood. And when they pulled up to my house, they asked me, were they apartments? And I'm like, no, they're not apartments. That's my house. But yeah, I learned, that the overall black experience is just,
not that,
very different. But like our doctors, our dentists, our orthodontists, the person who owned the restaurant, the person who owned the dry cleaner, they were all black people. And so I think on the whole, though, a lot of people don't have a sense that we could have community, and we do have communities that are thriving now today that are all black. A lot of people won't believe you when you say that,
but
it's true.
Until you see it or
Yes.
experience it, you're not going to believe it.
Yes.
But that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that people had knowledge enough to buy businesses and stores and property and apartment buildings and to vote their local politics to get roads fixed, infrastructure done. People had that knowledge. Then, example, urban renewal. Back then sounded like a good thing. You look at it now, in most cities, if you look up urban renewal in your area or surrounding area, you'll see who it disproportionately affected was African Americans. Right here in our own city, we had to do a proposal in our city hall to before all of the developers come up from New York City. We're right north of New York City. So post-pandemic, people moved. That happened after 9/11. People moved up here, bought up everything, gentrified. Pandemic, no one was working in the office anymore. So they moved up from Jersey, from any of the boroughs in the city, right? Same thing. But there was the issue of urban renewal that moved out everybody in the 70s. So now they have to go back all of these years, and you can file an application if you can prove that you or say one of your grandparents had property, a storefront, a building that was affected by urban renewal, and they have to give you a primary access to the new land. Now, whether you can afford to develop that is something different, but they have to give you primary access to that before they allow people to come build apartment complexes and things like that. So urban renewal was another thing that wiped out neighborhoods. Redistricting highways, the new highways and roadways disproportionately affected African Americans and African American parts of a city or a town, like you said. Same with me. When I grew up, the churches were black, stores across the street was black, the barbershops, all of that. And then I grew up like a post-urban renewal. My mom would tell me, "Oh, all the storefronts down at the river, all the apartment buildings, all black people. They have pictures. Like, where'd all the people go? Where'd all the buildings go? Nice view for the river now, but that was a community down there."
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back to that conversation about education. People were aware. Ability. Obviously, they had ability to buy land, start a business, maintain that business. And you get this adverse treatment of African Americans that affects you negatively. So now, if there was a bunch of white people living in that part of town, might have been different, So
yeah, there's that element of the cultural enclaves, which looks like, which is basically what Chinatown is. I've always been in favor of that. I think that there's a lot that we can implement from that plan, which I know in this online community, we like to put as much emphasis as we can on those early Pan-Africans and Afrocentrics. But, regardless of how you want to label it, I think that there's, some good and bad from a lot of different things that we can implement. And that seems to be a real time working example of people consolidating their economics, being able to own a block or own a small chunk of the city all to themselves, and to some small degree kind of like govern a lot of the activity that goes on there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think where a lot of people start to fantasize even about ideas like that is they still want to operate like that and consider themselves separate from the system, which nobody here did that. I probably shouldn't have brought that up because it probably was a bad omen. Right? I know, because nobody's
old gang, huh? That's your
right,
old gang.
Maybe
they're paying average games up there.
Crazy conversations, but yeah, I think that's a good starting point, or at least a good building block for a real working example that we can say, okay, these people over here doing that. What are some of those things that we can implement from what they're doing into what we're doing? It's working. You know what I'm saying? It's been up and running for them for a while. So you can look at exactly what it is, exactly what their early struggles were, so on and so forth, or even some of the political things that they had to go through to protect their cultural enclave and keep it exclusive, or it's probably not exclusive on paper, but that allowed them to have such a high concentration of one people group in one area. So
yeah, and a lot of it was for like in my area, like the first people that bought the homes and left it to their right are like my grandma was 97 years old, and it gets to a point where the community around you start to flourish. And my family was in a situation where they were kind of actually forced out, like because like the home is in a very prominent area and they want that home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? And it's like and you're in a position where like, okay, I can fight and stay, or I can take the money and go. You know what I'm saying? and so many of us were not in a position to just stay. They had to, because no matter how prideful you are, there comes a time when it's like, you know what, I need this money, and it's better for me to just take the money and leave and build someplace else. So you find a lot of people doing that. You know what I mean? A lot of geeky people who had their homes of good value, but the next generation of kids sold the home and left, either because they're tired of treatment there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, the area wasn't sufficient. There wasn't enough black representation. It felt like, man, I don't want to keep doing this here. Just give me the money and I'm gone. So
I like
think
the accountability of acknowledging that in a lot of cases, the land wasn't taken or stolen. They took the money. And that's essentially what it was. But I like Logic's example of these groups forming cultural centers, because you mentioned Chinatown, but I think Chinese people in this country, and even Indian people in this country, South Asian people, are great examples to look at, because they are setting up economic basis for the most part and not participating politically and still achieving success, which is so interesting to look at. We can approach or attack our interests in several different ways. And I think those are two groups to look at.
Right. Less so with the Hispanics, but definitely more so with the Asian, because the Asian would be like, we'll just do our own thing. I'm saying, like I said, in where I'm at, they had the fire department had to tell them to put their signs in English, because otherwise we don't know, we can't read them.
Yeah.
And we don't want to know where to go. So
wow,
it's when they went that, because the area was Korean, they went that Korean over the top. So they had to go back and put English letters, so in case of emergency, we could actually come and help them. That's how separated they was getting over there.
They wanted y'all to stay out. Like you ain't supposed to be over here. That's why you can't read it. You ain't supposed to be over here.
Exactly. You don't even know that's a bowling alley right there. You can't read the sign.
and because we've been here longer than most groups, right? We have the information.
Yes.
So if at the same time, if you want to look at something that happened in the last 50 years for a particular group, or the last 100 years, we've been here for a long time. That information is available. That data is available. That's why I always feel that people think we have to start over because we don't understand and we don't know. No, all the information is there. There are specific roadblocks for people. Again, that goes back to my premise that you have to know what you're up against, not what poor people are up against, or Asians, or new people in the neighborhood, or just new property owners. You have to know all of that, plus what African Americans are up against. Those are not the same across the board. They're not. There's a legit and detailed history. So we have to start there. May seem like old news, annoying news, but the data is there. Some a group of people that may have been here since the late 40s. You got what, almost 100 years worth of information, but maybe only the last 30 years is relevant, or you see a major transition of that group to separate from us, or quote unquote pull ahead. The data and the information is there. What went right, what went wrong, and
there you go. See, like that's
and
like to me, that's so simple.
It's the roadblocks. It's how do you get through those?
Like you have a working example, so why emphasize this fantasy example? Like when you have at least some working examples to build off of, you might even can incorporate some of your fantasy into the working example, but don't alleviate the working example. That sounds retarded. But again, like I guess at this point, I came into a lot of these conversations with some really good intentions, and just seeing where people's mind frame goes, man, it's just like, it's crazy. I gotta stop doing it. That's a bad habit. I feel like I'm talking to people that are not up here right now because I'm so frustrated by it.
Associating the public at large.
I gotta stop doing
it.
I mean, I might need to stop talking.
He got some demons. He need to go back and exercise.
I might need to stop talking to Pan African.
Really, the only Hebrew Israelites I know are on YouTube. I've never met them really in person. I don't know any.
I know a bunch.
It's just different perspective. I would say, like, for me, this dip, like in a certain area, like you don't really see them like that.
I don't know really, any. I've seen them in the city, but I've never. I don't know anybody.
You don't got no friends. I don't really have friends with like Egyptian names. I don't have friends or family with Egyptian. You know, like it's just not reality. You know what I mean? So yeah. So, you know, and you got to separate positive pro-blackness from conscious community pro-blackness. There's some good black groups out there that's looking to do positive thing, and they're not looking to do it from a racist lens. So you can't just, you know what I mean? I had to come into, you know what I mean? You know, you can't just, you got to see what they're offering, what they're talking about.
That intent, you got to find out that intent. Yeah,
right. Because we don't hold the same type of energy when the Jewish community is Jewish first and proud. You know, so we gotta allow for us to have that space as long as it's not harmful. You know what I mean? And be any type of hateful thing, we gotta support it, even if we're not involved. Like, you know what I mean? I support things even if I'm not involved with it myself. You know what I mean? I just, because I look at it like this: like, I have ideas, but you know, maybe I might be wrong. So let me support you too, so we can have various ways of getting to the end game. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't know it all. I might think it sounds good, and 5 years later be like, man, they had it right all along. So I like hedge my bets. You know what I mean?
I like that.
All right, Logic. I am done. I don't know if you guys are gonna stay on or.
No, I think I'm about to slide. It's not looking too good for Kamala when I'm searching around. Trying to find some good news.
That's the numbers on her side are ticking up a little slow. Yeah. And he over 200 already, so that ain't looking
good. Yeah, they bringing in Oregon. They waiting on Virginia.
It looks like she's gonna lose Georgia.
She basically had to run the table almost at this point.
Yeah, it looks like she's gonna lose Georgia. I was hoping she get Georgia, North Carolina. That was key. It's close. I mean, like, it's real close. Like 240,000. 2,400,000 something, 2,500,000. You know what I mean? Like, it's real close, but she's getting edged out.
Well, we knew it was going to be a nail biter, so I'll get back to it in the morning. I'm not staying up watching this.
All right, y'all. Peace, y'all.
Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Definitely, it's always good talking to you. I love your perspectives. You know, we gotta have some more conversations. I think that there's a lot of depth there, and you seem to, you know, you do some digging, and I like that. You know, I like to have the conversation below the surface level, because that's where all the nuggets are. That's where the good stuff is. But you gotta be having that conversation with somebody that's also doing it, or you just kind of like educating them or reminding them, hey, this is actually the facts. I'm not shooting from the hip. So that's cool. We'll definitely look forward to doing some more of that. Hopefully Kamala can turn this thing around. That'd be nice. You know, I'm leary of.
Look at Logic trying to
keep up alive.
Keep vote for Kamala. Where's Brass at? Where's Brass?
Man, y'all ran Brass off, man.
Brass ain't got no more fingernails left. Putting band-aids on them fingertips.
Shoot, he been in the lead by over 100 the whole time. He ought to be all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm out. I am. Good to see you again. Thanks everybody in the chat for coming through.
Well.
Remember, wipe your feet on the way out. Hit the like button, share,
I ain't gonna press nothing and do like Brass did.
Check out IAM's channel, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Well, I'll let you close it out. I'm out.
Nah, it was a good show. You know, I learned some stuff. I think we matter of fact, I'm gonna talk about my experience with just looking up this whole campaign thing, right? I found it to be really a interesting exercise of what moves people to act. And I found out when it comes to this campaign thing, most of what the things that move people to act is typically not policy, right? It's really typically more about, you know, the show and the rhetoric. And that was a surprise for me, right? When you're looking at like CNN and ABC and NBC and looking at those news stations, even they acknowledge that a lot of voters are not informed voters, and they more vote on political lines. And then you have your other people who out there just falling for, you know, their particular rhetoric that sounds good to them. But as far as like digging into trying to understand what these people's policy are, that's really not what most people do, right? So I'm, you know, with that being said, with that being how I'm going to approach voting, you know, I would fall in the minority of the very few people who's not influenced at all by, you know, the party that the candidate is running under. I'm more concerned about what does this person's policy actually do for me, or even do for the group of people that I'm concerned with. And, you know, in this case, of course, African Americans here in America. So, you know, with that, man, good night. You know, do some digging, actually see what, you know, what these people are talking about. I'm going to be keeping up with it because I'm interested now. I see the soap opera. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, Young and the Restless a little bit if you keep up with some of the personalities out there. They got some real crazy people in politics, some really, really smart and witty, and some, you know, just flat out comical like your Donald Trump. You got some of those kind of like on both sides. But you know, I'm gonna be keeping up with it, you know, and if y'all are interested, I'm definitely, you know, regardless if y'all are interested, I'm gonna be posting some updates about the politics and you know, and the growth that is going to be happening with, you know, with my situation. I'm actually doing pretty, you know, I ain't gonna say I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty decent, right? And I expect a nice amount of growth within the next couple years here. So I'm keep y'all posted on my growth, man. Y'all can come grow with me. We can put our ideas together and make the best out of this whole American experience that we're dealing with. I think that's what it's really all about. Peace.
Crazy, deranged.
Got that new Mac computer. I don't know how to work it just yet, but I'm enjoying it. I like learning this. This is cool.
Yeah, DQ. Check. Have you ever had a dream in the daytime? Had the same dream since the playground. If you made it come true, cause you stay down. Nigga, have you ever really thought about the limelight? In a room full of stars when you shine bright. I'ma make the right move when the time right. Alright. Nigga, have you ever had a dream during the daytime? Had the same dream since the playground. If you made it come true, cause you stay down. Nigga, have you ever really thought about the limelight? In the room full of stars when you shine bright. I'ma make the right move when the time right. Calculated every step, so I can't stand a hater out here hating on. Niggas out here making moves. See a hand out the type of shit they waiting on.